Okay, so the stream has begun, and right, I haven't got any guests just yet, but for now I wanted to start the stream. So yeah, this is the Women of Gamergate number 2, and hopefully very soon we can get some guests, some ladies in here to give their experiences for Gamergate. So I'll tweet out the stream right now, and the views are about to blow up. So give me a second. Yeah, sorry for all the dead air. Just give me a second. I'm tweeting out the stream. Okay. All right. So while I'm waiting for potentially viewers, while I'm waiting for people to join the stream, for ladies to join the stream, I'll just give my thoughts on a few things. If you've been paying attention to my tweets in the past few hours, you'll notice that I had I had a bit of a, I guess, existential crisis. I don't know what to call it really. I had a bit of an issue with what happened with the Escapist magazine. Basically, the Escapist Online. They're cool because they're one of the few people that revise their policies. But the Escapist Online published an article about a couple of female game developers giving their opinions on Gamergate, and it would be an understatement to say that it was universally negative. It was pretty harrowing to read because these ladies were basically saying that all they've seen is harassment, a bunch of trolls, people getting angry. They feel like there is a genuine debate in there somewhere, but they feel like the conversation isn't going anywhere purely because of all the things that have happened, the harassment of Zoe Quinn, the harassment of Benita Sarkeesian, and people just don't feel like this this controversy is worth anything when they can't even talk. The general consensus is basically that, if you're a female in the gaming industry, it's become toxic for you, and as a result, as a female game developer, they can't possibly feel any positive outlook on it. And that I can understand that. I can sympathize with that. And reading it was quite harrowing. That's why I went on those tweets basically saying how concerned I was. I didn't want to be negative. In fact, the last thing I want to do is to be negative about the whole thing. But at the same time, I can see why they felt that way. Because on an industry side, you can't really speak out or support gamers directly because all that does is make you look bad. I mean, as I said on Twitter, why risk losing your job or being labeled as a misogynist or a harassment supporter when it's easier to look morally upright, keep your job, and you know basically stay out of it, stay detached. So I don't blame them for that. If you haven't read that Escapist magazine, then you'll have a chance to read it very soon. Also, I just got some Twitter messages. I'll check them out in a second. Okay, well, just sorry for the dead air. Yeah, there was just checking out some Twitter messages. So basically, for the moment, I haven't got any guests, as I said, so you'll have to listen to my boring voice for a while. I don't know why I can't set up a live chat on YouTube. I'm not sure what the mechanism behind that is, so sorry about that. Because I know having a live chat on YouTube would be the most beneficial thing. So sorry about that. If I could set that up, that'd be great. But unfortunately, I'm not sure what to do about that. If you have any questions, you can ask me through Twitter, and I'll endeavor to ask them in the meantime. And hopefully, within a few minutes, we'll start getting some of the ladies in here. We'll start letting them talk, and I think that'll be pretty cool. So, oh, interesting. I think I'm trying to see if I can set up that. I'm trying to see if I can set up that live chat thing. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do about the live chat. Okay, allow comments. Yeah, that's fair enough. Chat automatically backs all messages. Now I'm betting, etc., etc., etc. Like if I can get the live chat, that's going to really help out. I'm not really sure what the general idea behind that is. But still, I think with the way Gamergate is going, now that we're in week 6 at the moment, I think it's fine. And I think that we've done a lot of good. Obviously, we've donated to 2 charities, the Fine Young Capitalists and the other charity. We've gotten some websites to revise their policies, and we've also managed to just spread a general message of positivity, inclusivity, and diversity. And I think that's a great thing. I just wish that all these things would, I don't know, would actively make a difference, because it seems very frustrating that given all of those things, we still don't have a situation where, uh, I don't know, we still don't have a situation where the general public has an idea, because obviously all they see are the big articles and they'll listen to them. They're not going to listen to a bunch of blogs and stuff like that. They're not going to listen to a bunch of people online saying, "Oh no, but it's about it's about game ethics, you guys." To them, all they just see is harassment, unfortunately. So that's why I'm quite concerned myself. I'm still trying to see if I can set up these comments. So if you give me a second to see if I can enable those comment settings. I think that settings might be working. It's just they don't seem to be appearing for me personally, so I don't know what to do. Because it says, yeah, the chat's right there, but for some strange reason, it's telling me that there is no chat. If someone could tweet at me if the chat's available now, because I can't see anything. Yeah, there is no live chat. Never mind. All right, never mind. Okay, so for now, as I said, I still need to wait for people to show up, because that'll be really good. Oh, think I can get someone on real quick. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Despite my better efforts to try and stop the conflicts with the streams, I seem to have created conflicts anyway. Let me add a column. All right. All right. I'll invite 2 of the ladies in, so you can stop listening to my boring self, and we'll get the ball rolling on this one. All right. Let's see. Okay. Laura. That Laura lady. I think, yeah, someone else is trying to join the stream. By the way, I'm not looking at the Hangout right now. If you join the stream, please tell me, because I can't see it. Let's see now. All right. Just sending out a couple of links for people to join the stream. Okay. All right. What the hell? Apparently the link I sent was wrong. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Why would it send me to the Google Plus? I don't understand. Okay. Okay. Aha. Suddenly I see what the problem is. It's a different. Ugh, unbelievable. YouTube is messing with me. Christ almighty. How do I internet? Okay, done. Anyway, yeah, okay, so the lady should be coming soon. That was annoying. So as I said, if you want to ask any questions, send them to @NotYourShield on Twitter, or AskFM, I guess. Although I'm not sure if I want to be checking AskFM right now.
Hi.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Oh, there's not more people?
No, because I just started the stream.
Okay.
Because no one had appeared yet, so I thought I don't want people to be waiting for ages. So I thought let me just start the stream for now,
Okay, yeah.
uh, and hopefully we can get more people in.
I think
I'm
I'm in.
asking, oh, hi.
Well, hello again.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, good, good.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm having existential crisis at the moment, but I'm doing fine.
Yeah, I've been hearing you futz with the internet for a while.
Yeah, I've sorted it out now. Google Plus is not my friend. Okay, but that aside, thanks for coming on again. And obviously we spoke last time on the Women of Gamergate stream, so I don't think the audience needs introduction. But if you want to, you can give a quick explanation of who you are.
I'm Shield. I wrote the mildly popular Not Your Shield post, and I've just generally been hanging out and chatting with other people. So, I would say
Okay.
mildly popular.
I am Jade Fox. I don't know if you, yeah, hi.
Hi.
Yes. All right. So obviously, if you've been paying some kind of attention to Gamergate so far, you probably heard of both of these ladies. I'll probably ask you since I've been rambling about it for a while now. But have either of you read that escapist article that I was talking about?
Which one? There's a
Yeah.
lot. Is
Oh,
that
no,
the one,
as in the one
the
with the
female devs?
yeah, the female game developers. Yes. Hello.
I have.
Oh, okay.
I was pulling it up. I have. It's really long, I'll be honest.
It is quite long.
Let me get my friend. You guys
And
know
also-
Ivy Twisted, right?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, yes, I do.
Yeah. She's like, well, she's one of the first women of like, I would call her, she's been here since the beginning, kind of. One of the more vocal ones, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'd love to meet her.
Let me just get her, and let me get Candace can't do it, I know, and Renaxis is probably asleep. Who else? Well, we can do Sabrina.
Yeah.
All of these names are going over my head, so I'm just gonna assume you know who they are.
Shitlord, yeah. Sabrina, Leanne, or the Shitlord Sabrina.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
On the topic of that, I respect the women who were in the article for coming forward and saying what their piece. I respect that is how they perceive this situation. I also respect, at least one of them said it's a very painful time for them. But I can't really agree with everything they're saying. They continue to say that this is about Zoe Quinn.
Yeah.
I want to make a statement. I don't care about Zoe Quinn or Zoe Quinn's interactions with anyone other than that one journalist. What it's really about for me is the journalistic integrity within our media and, not being used as a shield because I'm a female. So.
Well said.
Yeah. But it is incredibly long, and everyone should read it because at the very least, you can get some perspective on people who view this otherwise.
Well, I feel like the majority of people who view this in another way, they are not fully informed of all the stuff, and that's why I don't tend to trust or really care too much about what they say, because most of the time they don't offer some new perspective that I haven't considered, or they don't offer some new information that I don't know about.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
But that also treads on my end dangerously close to the you don't know what you're talking about argument that I've encountered. So I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt at times. And especially if they're female game devs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why I picked my wording carefully, because I wasn't about to say
Well,
you're wrong, that they're all wrong. I just wanted to say that this is their experience, and they've clearly had some experiences, and they've clearly read about it. And I don't want to say, oh no, you're misguided, because I'm starting to sound like the opposition. All I want to say is that this is the impression they've gotten, both from their own experience and from reading about it, and I can't fault them for that. But that's exactly what worries me the most, that is the impression they got. And that's why I was really, like, disturbed earlier, because I'm like, well, despite everything that's happened, this is what they think?
Mhm. Mhm.
well, this is how I see it. They're friends with other people in the industry who are against this, clearly. They're surrounded by these people. They're influenced by these people, and they're reading articles on these sites that are clearly already biased. And I doubt the majority of people are not willing to go out of their way to find out more information. Most people are just so lazy that they'll just kind of believe whatever their friends tell them. And that's the honest truth. Like you can give them a whole list of stuff, and they don't really want to read the entire list. They'll just read the summary, and that's it. And that's all they kind of care about, because people don't have the attention span to kind of really, or like even the desire to want to know more or learn more, or even have the skepticism. Can I really believe my friend when they say this?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to trust and verify and encourage them to do that too. So I agree with you on that point. I'm just, I'm just weird like that. So I am. I'm weird in that I'm actually worried about how I come off to other people beyond the normal social means. I didn't mean to say you aren't aware. I mean,
no.
I'm more
I'm not
so.
saying that. No, I'm saying that. I don't think that's unnormal. I don't think that's weird. That's actually really normal to care about your perception of how you come off.
Okay. Everyone's always told me I'm weird about it, so.
Oh, I don't think that's weird. I think that's actually really normal to care about how, you come off to other people.
Okay. Cool. Today I learned something.
Okay. I don't mean to offend you in any way.
Okay, it turns out we got a new contributor.
Do I sound offended? I'm not offended.
Yeah, we got a new contributor, someone who's been trying to get in for a while. If you can hear us, if you can speak, say hello.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Hey!
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, good. Is the quality okay? My microphone is really bad.
No, we
it's
can hear you. It's fine.
Okay. I've never done a Google Hangout. I don't even know how to change my name.
That's fine.
It's okay.
Do I have a name right now or a picture or anything? Because
You do have a picture, and you're showing up as Gold K,
don't
and then
try
it
to-
runs off. And then it runs off, so.
Ah, okay. Good.
Do you
So
mind if
that
I call
works.
you Goldie?
No problem.
Mhm.
That sounds very Sin City.
Nice. Okay, so thanks for coming on. And I was going to ask the question that I asked in the previous stream, and that's so as a woman who supports Gamergate, what has your experience been, and how do you feel about the movement as a whole, and how do you feel about gamers as a whole?
Whoa, that's a big one.
I guess it is. Sorry, I didn't want to.
I don't know. I feel like I'm from a bit of an outsider perspective. I don't know. Because
Okay.
I'm from Germany, and the thing is, when I first got wind of this entire sexism in video games and stuff like that, I was like, what? Is that even a thing? Because I grew up in a completely different environment. I don't
Okay.
know. And when I heard this kind of stuff, I was like, wow, this is kind of insulting, because I built so many friendships with women and men on games. And
No,
Okay.
with people telling me that that's basically all bullshit.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that was kind of condescending, to be honest. I don't like being talked down to that way.
None of us do. None of us do.
Yeah, I have a problem with authority, especially from people whom I cannot respect in that regard.
That's good. That's good.
People
it's
are
definitely
kind of
good to hear.
complaining about the chat. I'm reading the comments. And just to kind of tell you guys, unless you already have your account as like a specialized account, we can't really set up chat. So you guys will just have to kind of go through the comments, and that's just kind of the bad thing about YouTube.
Yeah, the thing is, I just went through my settings to see if I could set up the chat, but I think it doesn't work while it's still streaming. Maybe I'd have to reset up
Something
the stream.
special.
Yeah, so I don't know. For the moment, it's not working, but I think I have to start the stream through YouTube, not Google Plus, for it to work. So sorry about that. Hopefully for next time we can get it going, but for the moment, I can't make it work, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
New Woman's pretty soft. Could use more volume. So just speak up a little, Goldie.
I can turn her up a little bit.
Okay, I don't know how that works. Actually, this is a new computer. That's the worst part.
No, I turned her up. I think she's a little bit better now.
You are.
Okay, good. That's good.
All right. Oh, this Sabrina person wants to join.
Yes, Sabrina, yay, yeah.
I shall grant her that wish. For I am the wish fairy.
The wish fairy.
So I listened to the last stream when it went on YouTube. That was pretty interesting, but a bit long.
Yeah, it was.
I couldn't watch the
phenomenally
entire thing.
long. I'm not gonna lie. If I wasn't the person who streamed it, if I saw that length, I'd probably cry. That said, I have seen streams that have been like something like that long, to be honest with you, or at least listen to them.
We could at the very least go back through and put in marker points where there are interesting discussions happening, and not, and let people pick and choose if they don't want the whole 6-hour viewing experience.
I hope this doesn't last 6 hours.
No, I don't think I'll let it go on that long. I think part of the reason why I went on that long was just because it broke out into a general conversation. This time around, I'm trying to keep it concise. Because I think if we keep it at bite-sized chunks, it's likely to get more people to listen in, and that way I can do it more regularly. So I don't worry about that. I'm gonna be careful with how long I make it. But it's
I
good
think
that
a good. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, that's all I was gonna say. You can go ahead.
No, you finish.
Hey, I got accused of talking too much. I don't want to talk too much.
Really? Somebody accused you of that? You seemed pretty good about it when I was with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest here. You put 6 or 7 women in a stream at once, and it's going to go on for a while, but we can't ask you to be silent for the entire 6 hours while we talk.
Well,
that's silly.
Yeah, wouldn't that be oppression anyway?
Yeah, we'd be reverse oppressioning you.
I have somebody interested in joining.
Who is it?
Gwen the Lily Knight. I don't really know her, but
Gwen.
You should tell her to message me then.
Yeah, Gwen is. I've seen her. She's kind of a moderate in this group, from what I've seen.
That word is very loaded.
We don't like that word.
Is it?
We don't like that word.
Yeah, it's loaded.
We all got called imbeciles, and I was just like, I am highly offended by that, but it's your right to say imbecile. So, I'm good with yeah. Sorry, guys.
It's fine.
I haven't had any coffee today.
Oh, that's bad.
It is. So what part of Germany are you from?
Somewhere around the middle.
I had a bunch of friends from various places in Germany when I was younger, and I really liked them. They were good friends. I'm sad we kind of fell out of contact.
Yeah, that happens. I find friendships tend to differ from country to country. That was a weird thing.
Yeah.
It's like the perception of the word, what a friend is, like of the definition.
Okay. That's really interesting, actually. I didn't ever think of it in that way. So basically, like, what we have as an acquaintance in the U.S., how would you consider that in Germany?
I'm not sure how to define that. I can just contrast it with people from America that I've met.
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to sound too insulting. I've met Americans who were very, I would say, open and open-minded, and they embrace new acquaintances very quickly, but they're also they get, I don't know if they get bored easily, but I would say kind of flaky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Usually over here, when you're friends with someone, it's kind of this pinky swear kind of friendship where you're like, we're going to be friends forever and ever and ever, and you can't get rid of people because they're loyal to the end.
I guess over
Oh,
here, it's less that we're flaky and more that we fluctuate between friend groups. Like,
Also there's this very open attitude. You don't have that with Germans. With Germans, you usually have to get through some layers of people just
you have to
trying
earn
to
their
build
friendship,
walls.
basically.
I
Huh?
miss. Yeah. You have to earn their friendship. Is
Yeah,
what
you have
she
to end
said.
their friendship. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes
I'm-
you have to stalk people for a year before they accept your friendship.
Wow.
Did Sabrina get in?
Yes, she did. There she is.
She's here.
Can you hear me?
Yay.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we can hear
awesome.
you.
That's great.
Girl talk, friendships.
What's the topic of conversation at the moment?
I guess
One of my best friends who's listening right now, I think, is American. So I don't want to be generalizing.
Don't
No,
worry
it's fine,
about
it's fine.
it. It's cool. Currently, the difference between friends and acquaintances in Germany and America. I think we're just trying to wait and see who gets in here before we get to the brass tacks. So.
All right. So this is aimed at. Wait. Has Sabrina started talking yet, or is she not?
Yeah, we're having discussion.
All right. Cool. Sabrina, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Yes. Hello. Okay. So I'm going to ask the question. So, what is your experience of Gamergate been so far, and what do you think of the movement as a whole, and what do you think of like gamers as a whole? Like, what has your experience been in the past few weeks?
I've been a part of it since around August time, and my experience has been overwhelmingly positive. I found that people are very interested in talking and discussing. They're not shutting down debate like the other side tends to. I haven't really seen a lot of the harassment which has been talked about, and people on the Gamergate side have been actively trying to police that. So yeah, I find it very difficult to understand the position of a lot of anti-Gamergate people, honestly.
Okay. That's definitely good to hear. Oh, that's strange. I can't send Gwen the invite because she doesn't follow me. That's annoying. Hold on.
Ask her to follow you, or do you want me to send you the link that you gave me because she follows me?
Yeah, send her the link. No, that'll be easier.
Yep. Let me just copy this. Ooh, Echo. Gwen Lily.
Okay.
So Renardo 333, I think it is, has just suggested that reverse oppression quest would be a good game to fund.
Reverse oppression. What does that even mean?
That would mean women oppressing men.
Oh, that's
Isn't
what I do
that
every
any
day.
game with a female protagonist?
Maybe. I think
mean, Tomb Raider, mowing down tons of guys like it's nothing. I mean, those people
In a
had
car,
families.
just in a car, clearly. You know, like running down male pedestrians.
Exactly.
constantly.
You see what I mean? Like, those guys had families. One day off retirement, you ended their lives.
Wow.
Okay, I got a question. Thank goodness. The questions are coming. He says, people blowing hot air aside, have you girls received more credible threats from men or women, or relatively equally?
You can't tell a lot of the time.
I mean, I have a lot of people who claim to be girls.
Wait,
Who are-
could you ask the question again? I was reading something too. Yeah.
The question was that, have you girls received more credible threats from men or women, or relatively equally?
I think it's actually more from women than men. I haven't received any from men, really. I don't think
That's
so.
worrying, to say the least.
I don't want to bring this up because I really don't want it publicized too much, but the company I work for that I was attempting to get back from work after a leave has informed me that I have been restricted as of today, and having had been doxxed, I find this worrying. And the only thing they could say was that a woman has called in and has expressed some reservations about you working with us.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Now wait. It could be anyone in the world for any reason. I'm not going to, and I want this to be very clear, I'm not going to pin this on Gamergate. But it does seem suspicious.
Did I not just... I thought I sent... Okay, has Gwen not gotten the link yet? Because she just asked me if...
No, because I asked her to follow me.
So she's not following you either.
Yeah, I thought she was following me,
God,
but
I'll
maybe
message
she
her.
had followed me. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to message her.
She's not big on following people.
She followed me, and she's talked to me. She's a bit of a sweetheart, from what I can tell. Again, moderate, but a sweetheart.
Well, define moderate in this case. She's moderate in what sense?
She seems to be very much for equal voicing of opinion, and very much something of a soft touch towards SJWs, which I'm totally for. But she seems to be in the middle on this, is what I mean. So she's neither for nor against. She's just, whoa.
So basically, our goal right now is to convert her. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Well, no. Hi, Ivy. She has said very plainly that she is with Not Your Shield, but
Okay.
she seems to have an opinion that borders on being willing to listen to both sides. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fine. That's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
So she's a sweetheart.
That's always
Hi,
good.
Ivy.
That's a little what?
Ivy.
Oh, Ivy. Oh, okay. Hi.
Yeah,
Hi.
hello Ivy. Thanks for joining.
I don't think her mic is working.
No, I had the same problem last night. Just whine at it.
The patriarchy is trying to thwart all of us, clearly.
Yep.
Clearly.
Yeah, that seems to be the case in everything these days.
Kill. Go away. Go away, kill.
What's wrong with Kill la Kill?
I have it up in my Hulu player in the background.
Oh, okay.
I really need to finish that.
Everybody hear me?
Yay!
Hi, everybody! I love you all. Hi.
We love you too.
Okay, so what did I miss? I was on the phone with Verizon customer service, and the first time in my life there was somebody nice, but they couldn't help me. But anyhow, so what did I miss?
Nothing much. For the moment, the stream's only been going for a short while, so I'm glad that you joined. Obviously, the question I was going to ask you is the one I've asked everyone, and that is, what has your experience been as a woman that supports Gamergate? What is your opinion on Gamergate as a whole? And I don't know what has happened to you thus far to this moment, up to this day. Sorry.
Okay, so I was in a Gamergate, well, in conspiracy and Not Your Shield since day one, since Monday Mass video went down. So I've been through a lot. From our side, people are mostly being nice. I had a couple of weird experiences with somebody was really jumping the gun and saw me retweeting something. They're like, "Oh my God, you should go where Zoe Queen is. You are supporting her." I was like, "Have you even checked my tweet? I maybe retweeted that, but like I'm supporting Gamergate since day one." So that's like the worst thing that I got from our side. But on the other side, oh dear Lord, I don't even where should I begin. I think I mentioned a couple of times that they told me that I'm not worthy of bearing children and having a uterus,
Wow.
that I'm brainwashed, gamer girl, that I only seek for male attention, internalized misogyny, of course, that I never
I'm
get
getting a
told.
t-shirt with that on.
Well, internalized
Yeah.
misogyny.
Yes, I'm designing one at the moment.
That reminds me of that
Yeah.
other thing. What is it? Ironic misandry or whatever?
Ironic misandry, yep.
And there's nothing ironic about it.
Soggy knees, yeah, my soggy knees. Misogyny behind his back, yeah.
My
So-
soggy.
My mahogany's.
But yeah, I got a lot of hate from the other side, even though I've always been nice. And first thing I tweeted, I think, was that Zoe Quinn's Patreon supporters are financing her bar exploits, like alcohol and birth control. I think that was the first thing that I wrote. And I deleted because I got policed. Yeah. I've tried to be really nice to everybody, especially when they attack me. I've been calling them sir and madam, and I'm sorry that you feel that way. Let's agree that we don't disagree, but they just keep spitting bile at me. And I'm not a real woman, or a woman, or I don't even know.
I don't know.
It says a lot. It says a lot when the people who support Gamergate, and the ladies like yourselves especially, have been so honest and reasonable, and yet the way the people on the opposition have acted has been nothing short of shocking. They've insulted people, they've degraded them, they've called them not real, and they've, perhaps the funniest one, they've been mansplaining, which I don't even like that word, but I agree. They've been doing some pretty ridiculous mansplaining as well, and I think that is completely ridiculous, because I don't know why a lot of them are like, oh, well, I don't care if you're a woman. I know that you're oppressed, and I'm telling you why, so listen, or whatever.
It's because it's a cult. This is like an ideology, which is basically like a religion, you know. They can't see sense or reason because their entire self-worth is based on, you know, women are oppressed, blah, blah, blah is oppressed, and you cannot disagree with that unless you take away their sense of self, I think.
Yeah, I think again it's driven by this need to be right, this neurotic need to be and do the right thing, but the inability to look past the very shallow definition of what is right. So.
You think it's some sort of...
I would like to describe them as Kim Jong-il, just a whole bunch of them, and they're out of the orbit left. So you either do what they say, or you should be obliterated, destroyed from the face of the earth. This is how I see it.
Yeah, it's more absolutism, I think is what the term is. They deal in black and whites. Either you're this way or that way. And I think it's so stuck into their core belief that they think that even if someone deviates from the line of reasoning, they think they're wrong. So if a woman tells them that their experience is different from the central narrative, they'll say, oh no, you're just an exception to the rule.
No, I can see that. Oh, hey, Gwen's in.
Yes, Gwen Lilly has just joined the stream.
Hi, Gwen.
Hi, Gwen.
Hi, Gwen.
Hi.
Hi. If you don't mind, I could probably also get...
You could also get...
Just 1 second.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we thought the mothership had came and got you.
No,
They got me last night, so you know.
Wow.
I have trouble speaking up sometimes.
Oh, okay.
It's okay.
The
Yeah,
Kotaku
yeah.
cops got you.
Seriously, who even reads that site?
I don't know. I'd forgotten it still existed, honestly.
The general public still does. Like, was it the other day? I think yesterday they posted an article about how people are mad about Final Fantasy 15 having 5 male protagonists, and of course that pulled in all the views. Why would
I'm
you?
mad.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I'm mad that there's a Final Fantasy 15. Screw the gender of the characters.
Why? What's wrong with 15?
I think that they've been going downhill in the last few.
Ever since 13.
Ever since 13, so I think they should.
I think it's too soon, and they should really take a step back.
Wait, too soon for 15?
Too soon. 15 took fucking since 2008. No, I think it's too
No, it's been
slow.
2006. It's been in development since 2006.
Since before
You know
the
what
iPhone came out.
Yeah, before then. Oh my god.
You know what I mean.
I know what
think
you. No, I can
Yeah.
see. A lot of people feel that the FF series is going on. I don't personally agree. I'm a big fan, and quite frankly, I like the idea of this like J-pop boy band road trip. Something
I
about
think
it
it
really
sounds
appeals
great.
to me.
Admittedly, if I had to cite a reason that I'm considering buying it, that is it. So
That trailer really sold me. Anyway, back on topic. Gwen Lily, can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Perfect.
We
I
can.
can hear you too.
Perfect.
Okay. So now that you're here, the question I'm going to ask you is, what has your experience of Gamergate been? And what do you think of the movement as a whole?
Well, this could take a little while.
Don't worry. Go ahead. Take as much
Go
time as you need.
ahead.
I've been in ever since the attack articles on gamers
Okay.
appeared all over the
You
website.
mean the totally non-coordinated ones?
Yes, the totally non-coordinated ones. And at many points early in, I'd tell people, yo, I'm a lesbian. And they're like, no, you're not. Like, I can prove I am right now. Hey, honey! Honey! In case they're listening right now, I'm tired of... I've been told in various places, hi, honey, prove that we're lesbians. Just say hi.
Hi.
There you go.
I think we're
I
gonna.
Hi.
didn't realize she was actually there. I thought you were giving an example.
I have the ring I have is was her. Let's see, mom's grandmother. So you're a great grandmother.
Yeah.
aw, that's so sweet.
It's kind of cool.
That's
I've
so
gotten
sweet.
a lot of compliments on it because it's really unique and Art Deco-y.
And she gave me the a ring that was passed down to her from how old is that ring?
It's at least my great grandmother's.
Yeah, so we passed down some old family rings to each other. I gave her a ring and she gave me a ring, so we were both able to get rings because girls like getting rings, or at least in this society. This society, maybe not all
Okay,
girls. There are
so-
societies where rings don't matter. But anyway,
let's
I've been
get back on
told
topic.
I wasn't gay.
Wait, so is
Over
what
and
happened
over and
that
over.
You obviously you talked about it. You talked about Gamergate, and did they basically tell you lesbian gamers don't real? Is that what they told you?
Yes.
Wow.
I've
okay.
been told you're not a lesbian. I gave them an audio clip. They say you don't talk like a lesbian.
What does a lesbian talk like?
Yes, I've given them an audio clip. And I once gave them an audio clip of me and my girl. I mean, I've taken these down, and they said, yeah, that's just a friend of yours.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Short of a sex
Hilarious.
tape, I don't think you're gonna be able to convince them.
When I've gone,
No,
undergone
there would be enough.
so much ostracization from my family.
That's the basic. That's the very basic. There's been a lot of things happening. I would like talking to them, but they don't seem very willing to talk. I've watched several people try to reach out to them, and I've seen them run away from almost everyone that has tried to reach out to them. Sometimes they look like they might open up as a person, and sometimes one of us might do a fallible human thing, because humans are fallible, but they don't accept apologies from anyone. I've seen people on our side apologize when they say something wrong to people on their side, and people on their side just like, apology? Pfft, yeah, right. Like, I've seen people on our side, or when some people on our side might say something wrong in a heated moment, and our side will apologize. We'll say, I'm sorry, I said something I probably shouldn't have, and they just get attacked for having done that, even if they apologize. It feels to me that as much as it would be nice to reach out to them, as much as we should still try, you should always try. There's a really good article I read that mentions how you need to try. And, it's part of my code of ethics that I try to reach out to people. But it's hard when they don't seem to want to, when they seem to, like, let's say a Gamergate person does something dumb, and then they go, yeah, what I did was dumb. They'll be attacked for that mercilessly until they delete their accounts or run away.
Philfish.
Even if they apologize. It's like our human our human frailties. The fact that all humans make mistakes is used against us as a weapon, and that's disheartening. Because all humans make mistakes. It's natural. We're not perfect. We have emotions. We're people.
Yeah, you're right about that. And I think that's the problem, that they haven't given any room for nuance. It's basically either you're with us or you're against us. And even when we've shown situations where we've shown remorse or we've policed ourselves, they still seem content in saying that, well, this one thing happened or this one thing was said, therefore you're wrong. And I think that's a problem. All right, so I think that's good. I'm glad you really shared that. And the question I was going to ask now to you ladies, or perhaps to the viewers, the Twitter followers, have you guys seen, because if you saw my tweets, you saw how ballistic I went over this, did you guys watch the stream yesterday with Whiskey Grenade and the Andrew person that came on? I think from that reaction you did.
Is that the guy who, the Italian one who spoke a whole bunch of nonsense, or is there are so many streams I cannot even see.
Was it the guy that said he was just a troll?
Yeah, the guy who said he's a troll and that ISIS is more organized than we are, etc.
Yeah, I mean, he's just trying to stir the pot so that people stay upset at each other.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite line was, "Oh, honey." Well, he didn't say honey, but he said something equivalent to this. It was like, "Oh, honey, you sound like me when I was a freshman in college."
Oh, when he said that to Oliver, yeah. When he patronized Oliver.
I nearly punched the screen. Like, I was like, what?
That was a mess. I didn't. It's just the thing is, he said he was a troll, and I remember one of the Whiskey Grenade hosts was about to just write him off right there, but everyone said, let's give him the benefit of the doubt, let's give him a chance to talk. But other than his circular logic, the fact that he clearly didn't respect anyone, I think he thought we were a joke. He thinks that the Gamergate are a joke. He said at some point that games can't be taken that seriously. And he basically was just running circles around everyone, deflecting every question. And even though they're trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, he was making a fool out of us, basically. And it was absurd. It was disrespectful, and it was, quite frankly, just insulting.
But I have to give props to Becca, who got it right.
Yeah.
You have to be sweet to these people and just let them hang themselves, because that's going to be what happens. And he basically essentially did that by getting everyone angry at him. So, props to Becca.
Yeah, Becca held her ground pretty well. I could tell that, like, obviously Oliver was very passionate, and that was good. The two Brits that were hosting the stream, they did a great job of moderating. I think that was quite good. And I remember Liz was getting a bit heated, understandably so. But I don't know. I mean, a part of me felt like, what would I do if I was in that stream? What would I say to this guy? Because I don't know what I said. I don't know what I would have done.
It doesn't matter. Anything you say to someone that says, I'm a troll, is just going to be flung back in your face in a way to make you upset. You can't trust anything. When someone says, I'm just trolling, I'm just saying things to provoke people, and then, like he said in the same sentence, I said things to provoke people, and because some people were provoked, that means all of you are the exact same as those people I provoked.
Yeah, it's essentially that because I can get a rise out of you, it shows that there's a problem. But the guy, the hosts, the Whiskey Grenade host, they kept saying, you intentionally posted inflammatory comments, and you got responses that were equally inflammatory. So how can you say that you're exposing a problem when you're the one seeking outrage? In fact, this reminds me, if we're talking about current events, the fact that whole thing about 4chan orchestrating nude leaks for Emma Watson was just a hoax.
And everyone fell for it because it's
country.
a narrative.
A company, sorry. Yeah, exactly. And what's messed up is websites like, I think, BBC and The Guardian, they just reported on it without looking up the facts. When this was set up by, like, Rantic Media or something?
Yeah, you could trace all of the stuff that was mentioned, about the hoax, etc. It was all available.
And I think they released a statement saying something along the lines of, we're doing this bad action to to bring attention to this bad action, and it could have been 4chan. Woo!
I think they got caught with their pants down. I'm not sure that they planned on it going this way. I mean, it just seems a bit strange.
No, because I think it's a classic case, just like with the rest of I'd say with the whole of like Gamergate and stuff like that. It's a classic case of people thinking that the internet is stupid, that we forget easily, or we don't have the resources to find out stuff, that they can just lie about something as obvious as an entire website and think that nobody's not going to look it up. That's what they think. These people literally hold us in a standard of contempt where they think we are retarded and they can do and say whatever they want.
But even the bottom part of this is that 4chan, if they had those nudes, they would not be waiting, they would be leaking them immediately. I mean, that's the fatal flaw in this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's playing off of the public opinion that 4chan is a hive mind of like-minded people all doing the same thing. Like, they've created a boogeyman, they've created a straw man, if you will, and they're basically using this to spin a narrative that this is a vile website filled with misogynistic trolls that are going to pounce on any poor defenseless woman that goes on the internet. That's what they're doing. They're basically saying we can root out the problem. But who's benefiting from all this, I wonder?
I'm going to tweet a link which is by Kezarad. I don't know if you've seen any of his other stuff, but it explains very well how 4chan can be used by other people, I think, and abused quite easily.
Just so everyone knows, because I've been getting Twitter messages and such, just asking where you can talk to us. It's at Not Your Shield. You should follow at Not Your Shield if you're not already, but it's at Not Your Shield. That's how you get to talk. Set up the chat. Sorry.
Yeah, thanks for the plug. Still, I mean, I don't... obviously, that's a bit of a tangent, but it's just one of those things where manufactured outrage really works. And it doesn't matter what you say, as long as you say something along the lines of, some women were harmed during this, and you'll get the entire internet to help you out. And that's annoying, to say the least. Okay, so we just got a new contributor. It says Razzleberry Fox is their name. Say hello if you can hear us. Hello?
I can hear you guys. Sorry.
Yes, hello.
Cool.
Perfect. Thanks for joining. I'm glad you joined the stream with us. Okay, so the question I'm going to ask you is, what has your experience of Gamergate been, and what do you think of the movement and what it's accomplished so far?
I can say that I've been really supportive of Gamergate since I found out. I am starting with game development, I've been working on Minecraft mods mainly. I have the 17 most...
nice to meet a fellow modder. Sorry.
Yeah, 17 most downloaded mod in Minecraft, DecoCraft. And I think it's the people that I've met on Gamergate are amazing. I have never seen such a lively, passionate, and all-around nice people in any movement I've ever witnessed on internet. And I think it's really bad that all these people are just speaking out against us without even getting to know us, just because they're supporting or they're friends with undesirables, I guess, and they don't question anything that their friends say or do. I think that's just inherently wrong, because it might be human nature to like defend your friends, but it doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do. And I think a lot of people have been caught off guard by the anti-Gamergate crowd, and most people are just like, other people I've met like outside the movement that don't really get it are been like, what's the big deal? And I'm like, it's a huge deal, because it doesn't stop at video games.
Exactly.
And it'll just keep going, and they'll start impregnating, if they haven't already, which we're finding out now with the new movement. What is it, Comic Gate now?
Comic Gate.
Yeah. Elevator Gate.
I think it's getting to a point where consumers are tired of being treated this way, and it's not right. And mostly all the Gamergate people I've met have been amazing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's great to hear. And you're right, because the funny thing is, you talk to a lot of people, I guess either the general gaming public or the general public, who hear about Gamergate, and to them it's just like, what's the big deal? A couple of sites are corrupt, whatever, right? They don't understand. See, this, you know what the problem with the bystander effect is? The problem with the bystander effect is this very callous belief that this doesn't affect me, that this is someone else's problem, this is someone else's fight, that if I just turn a blind eye, it will sort itself out, it won't affect me ever. That's fine in certain circumstances, but when this involves your hobby, an entertainment medium you care about, it's easy to think, oh, this doesn't affect me, this is someone else's problem. But when the problem persists, it spreads, and it becomes tumorous, and it starts to affect your very entertainment, suddenly you're going to be wishing you did something, because if you sat on the sidelines and this problem spread and became worse, you have yourself to blame if you did nothing. And I have no sympathy for anybody who sits on the sidelines and says, it's no big deal, whatever, right? Oh, someone's phone went off. But yeah, it's like people say that it's a non-issue, that it's just whatever. Their complacent, smug attitude to the corruption in the industry is basically that it's basically it's not a big deal, which translates to this doesn't affect me. Well, when something does affect you, people will then begin to recognize it's a problem. And I'm happy a lot of people don't have to deal with the vortex of information that's going on, but I just don't think that complacent attitude helps anything, because when that does come to your doorstep, when that does affect you directly, you have no one to blame but very hard.
Hello?
You need to fight
Oh
for the
yeah,
right
it kind of
reasons.
cut out.
It cut out, yeah.
No. The mothership got him. It's okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
where did I cut out? Sorry.
It was just like 2 words, so.
Oh
It's
dear.
good.
Okay. All right. No,
Yeah,
but yes,
it's good.
I'm just saying that basically that bystander mentality and all of this is a huge problem.
What
I
I
just
think is
that
people
we
are
all need
just
to work on it.
so used to corruption in everything that they're not like, it's not it doesn't make much of an impact on their lives anymore because they're used to it, I think. Well, at least in the country I live in, Mexico, great. It's freaking corrupt, and people are just so used to it. They're like, oh, whatever. Yeah, sorry.
The worst I've heard of this is someone who just refused to believe what I was telling them, and they just kept going caveat emptor, buyer beware. Like, it's our job to police what we watch and what we read. And in a way, that's right. But when we're asking for not everything to be corrupt, that has no point. And that's like the pinnacle of what you guys are talking about, is that, well, it's your fault for getting suckered into it, you sap.
Yeah, actually,
mentality.
all right. I don't want to break professionalism at all, but I'm gonna have to for a second, because whenever people tell me that blah blah blah, it's just diversity, blah blah blah, it's just opinion, I get so mad, because I'm like, you really think that anybody is against diversity or people's opinion? You really think that our problem with these websites is that they just have an opinion and we're too immature to stand? Have you seen the stuff they've been writing? Have you seen the way they've been treating people online? And you're telling me that I should just ignore them. It's just their opinion, you guys. Yeah, because when you attack readers directly, call them sexist, straight white males, and when they try to prove otherwise, you tell them they're sock puppets. Yeah, opinions, of course.
And their side is mainly straight white males.
But the problem is, it's so much deeper. It's not just games. They've actively infiltrated and taken over everything. It's not just games. It's everything that has to do with media. It's just completely out there what they're saying, and they do operate as a sect. They do shun everyone around them if they don't agree with their opinions, to the point where you will never probably ever meet an SJW face-to-face, because they only talk to each other and go out with each other and like shun everyone else in their lives.
You can't get trigger warnings in real life, so of course they can't cope.
I just want. All right.
Oh, no, sorry.
Well,
Go ahead.
no, I'm done.
All right. There's two things I wanted to mention. One is I'm glad they're not really messing with traditional games yet. I don't know what they do to traditional games and tabletop RPGs. As much as I love my Vidya, I'm really more of a D&D, White Wolf, Shadowrun kind of gal.
Oh dear.
And all my friends, but I'm just wondering, what are they gonna do to my games next? You know, I still do Vidya. You know, I do all the Vidya. Just look at my Steam account. But I'm just wondering, are they going to go traditional games next?
I wouldn't
And
be surprised.
also, trigger warnings?
Of course they are. Of course they are.
Yeah, what's
Well,
They've done it.
from
They've done it
infecting
to
every
everything.
sector?
Well, you missed last night when we found out that White Wolf has been subtly threatening freelance writers if they say something against Tumblr, and also Paizo has also some kind of distinct social justice bent. I don't know who dropped the link, but yeah, we can find that and hand that over. But yeah.
Okay, to curb you all guys for a second. Sorry, a lady joined about like 5 minutes ago, and she hasn't had a chance to talk yet. So let's just give her a chance real quick. All right, it's Cindy Nguyen, I think. Nguyen. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I'm so bad. Sorry.
Hi,
Yes, hello,
Cindy.
Cindy.
Hi, Cindy.
Hey.
Yes, thank you for joining. All right, and the question I'm going to ask basically is that, you know, what are your thoughts on Gamergate? What's your experience been so far as a female supporter of Gamergate? Hello, Cindy. Can anyone hear her, or is it just me?
No.
I'm getting
No.
buzzing.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything either. No, not really, Cindy.
Oh no, she's in the chat. Apparently we can't hear her.
I think Ivy's having a similar issue.
Yeah.
Weird noises in the background.
I think the issue is.
You think the issue is?
I think the issue is because Google Hangout can't handle too many people. That's one of the main issues. Yeah, that's one of the main issues with it. Same thing for Skype. I know for Google Hangout, if you have more than like 7 or 6, they start muting people.
Yeah.
Oh really? By just muting
Automatically. Yeah,
That's
muting
annoying.
people randomly.
Yeah, I got muted a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
We could mute ourselves and let them talk and.
Yeah, that would help.
I gotta bow out anyway. I'm about to do a mage game.
Okay,
So,
that's fine.
Okay.
Hey, is there a way I can talk to you later?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? You follow me, right?
Yeah, Sabrina, you're muted.
I think I do.
I'll go ahead and toss you my Skype via Twitter. But right now I gotta go. Later, guys.
All right, later.
Okay,
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
I hope I was helpful.
All right, you were. Thanks a lot. Okay, Cindy, try talking again. Hopefully it'll work now.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, Pat.
Awesome.
Yeah, we can hear you. Ivy, I think you've got some background noise there. Okay. Yes, hello, Cindy.
Hello.
Yes, hi there. Okay, so now that you can hear me, the question I was going to ask you is, basically, what has your experience of Gamergate been, and what do you think of the movement as a whole?
It's been really great, and what I saw was like people talking about misogyny, and usually people just make fun of the word because like it's so stupid. Like, what does corruption and all these cronyism have to do with misogyny? It does not make any sense. If you're calling someone out for being misogynist, why does that matter at all? But everyone's been really nice to me, and I've been on the Skype a lot with people from #NotYourShield hashtag, Gamergate. So, yeah. Hi.
Yeah, all right. That's good. So, would you say that your experience has definitely been positive overall?
Yes. Very
Can I ask
positive.
a question?
Uh, Unfortunate incidents like people sending you untoward messages.
Oh, of course.
A lot of people call me like a white cis male asking for my picture.
The usual.
Yeah. I just thought that people in the game industry and any creative industry should have the rights to do whatever they want without having like someone just like, no, that's offensive, you can't do anything. Like they have a right. Because I'm in college right now for game design, and usually I like more risque stuff on the female side.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm not a pervert, but yeah.
Okay, that's certainly interesting. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted by Twitter. But I think it was Gwen who wanted to mention something about trigger warnings, I think.
Yes, I wanted to mention something about trigger warnings. I could also mention plenty about tabletop, but I can save that for another time.
Okay, for now, yeah, let's talk
trigger
about
warnings
trigger
are great.
warnings.
So I'm sure everyone is familiar with trigger warning this, trigger warning that, trigger warning this, trigger warning that.
Yeah.
And I'm someone, I know other people, and there's also myself, that have anxiety disorders.
Okay.
And when you're unmedicated, just about anything can make you just go into a complete fight or flight tizzy. You know, that's triggering. Everything's triggering because it's a panic disorder. Anything that can cause anxiety or anything will be triggering. But then all you need is some medication or some meditation or something. I prefer medication myself, and suddenly those things aren't really much of an issue. And there are some meds that don't mess with you enough that much, and they just lower that fight or flight adrenaline. And I feel that these trigger warnings, while don't necessarily matter. I mean, if you just briefly describe, instead of just saying trigger warning, saying this is about X, an opening topic, and people can decide, do I want to read this article about rape? Do I want to watch this gory scene? You don't need trigger warnings. People should just, most things, people just have a little description about it at most. But for the most part, you don't need to say, oh, this is triggering. Because I feel like a lot of people that are using the word trigger warning are people who are using it to avoid things that they find unpleasant, not because it's things that actually make them, you know, make their heart suddenly go up and make them just act completely irrationally. It's just most of it, I feel, is just people saying it about things that they don't want to deal with themselves, and other people that have joined this movement are doing it so they hopefully don't offend other people. It's about, you know, it feels like it's about just not offending others. And I feel that people that are triggered by everything probably have an undiagnosed anxiety disorder. Even people with PTSD, which, having had a rough and tumble childhood, and there were guns, I have. And I'm occasionally, all I have is the super, for some, not talking for all PTS people, but I don't think that we get triggered as easily because most of us have spent our time trying to adjust to these new things as best we can. I mean, you're never going to be perfect. Anything might set you off. I know of someone who every time they hear a car backfire, they just get into complete, okay, what's going on mode, looking around. It's like they're having a heart attack. It's like, and what's going on? Is there a gun? Is there a gun? Are they after me? I'm sure there's also some people have flashbacks. I used to have flashbacks whenever I heard people yelling. I've gotten better about it over time through practice and through dealing with it. I feel that these people that are having these problems and have done all this trigger, I think one, they're making trigger warnings seem less, and actual triggers seem less, all the trigger warning. And two, I think if any of these people are really triggered by as much as they say they do, they need professional help. They don't need trigger warnings.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's well said. I think the issue with trigger warnings, I'll talk quickly, I don't want to talk too much. I think the issue with trigger warnings is creating a situation where we always set up people to, I don't know, basically be coddled, and we never give people a chance to not necessarily have thick skin, but to be exposed to a world, the unthinking, unfeeling world that doesn't exactly give them warnings. Because if we set up trigger warnings, it's going to create a situation where people don't know how to handle, sudden situations. So that's all I'll say on that. I think we'll get on to some questions now. And I've been keeping a track of questions on a Google document so I don't lose track. The first question says, this is kind of a loaded question, I guess, but I'll just ask it to see what you ladies think. It says, do you find it sexist that the majority of mainstream gaming journalists are straight white males?
I find it hilarious. I mean, when you've got guys preaching to you about how you clearly don't want diversity and, you're a gender traitor or whatever, and you're like, dude, shut the fuck up. Seriously, take a look in the mirror.
Right, anyone else want to...
They obviously no, you gotta understand. These white male journalists have reincarnated over and over and over. They've been every nationality and every race. They've even been giraffes and triceratopses. And that's why they have such a deep understanding.
And we should shut up and listen to them.
They're like Buddha.
Yeah, I love it when when white male gaming journalists talk to you as a woman, and they try to explain to you how oppressed you are, and you don't even realize. I'm kind of waiting for this entire, oh, you're just having your period thing. You know what I mean?
That's the tone,
Oh my
isn't
god.
it?
Oh my god.
It's very dismissive.
I
You're
just can't.
just stupid.
Okay, I think Razzleberry wants to say something, but we can't hear her.
I don't know if you can hear me. Can you?
Oh, we can hear you now.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so the day I got involved in Gamergate, I think it was like, I don't know, a week after it had started, I caught wind of it, and I was like, what? And it was actually, 25th, 26th of August. I don't know when it started, but yeah. Oh, yeah, so a month ago, exactly, almost. So I was when it started. The day I added that I was a female gamer and I supported Gamergate and blah, 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 I got this guy started calling me a fascist, Nazi youth, oppressed, internalized oppressed female. And I just couldn't believe what was happening. It was so weird. I was like, what? You're kidding. I'm like, I am a female. I am a gamer. I'm also a Mexican, so that makes me a Latina, I guess. And it just completely blew me away. Like, we had this huge discussion, and he just started spewing all this stuff at me on Twitter. And then he started reposting me, mocking me.
These people seem to think they know what's best for people.
Oh god, it fueled me so hard to just keep fighting it. After that, it was like I was sold after I got my first attack. So I think that's what drives a lot of us.
Yeah. I remember when I was talking to this guy on Twitter, and I said I wasn't buying his bullshit that how oppressed I am because I'm a woman and I'm Asian, and I didn't tell him I was Asian, so he called me an oppressed Mexican girl.
Wow.
Wait, what? Who called you an oppressed Mexican girl? What?
That's so hilarious.
He then deleted his tweet on it, so I didn't get to capture it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I was just gonna
It was
say.
like the worst. I was like, then I'm like, I'm capturing everything I see that people tweet me. I'm like paranoid.
Wow.
I think Ivy wants to say something.
Okay, can you guys?
We can hear you now.
Yeah, it's about the journalists. Oh, great, you can hear me. I think the people who are actually being offended by the Gamergate are not the people who should be even offended. All those white male journalists, or some of them are the worst, are being offended for transgender people, for people who are all sorts of different sexual orientation, whatnot, and they're being offended for them, and they're accusing us of being everything else, but they're not letting people who are actually those minorities sleep. Sleep. Sorry, speak. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
English is
so
not my first
social
language,
justice is
obviously.
the habit of being offended on people's behalf. It's basically saying that, well, I find this offensive, therefore the person I'm talking about should find this offended. When a lot of the time it's just a projection of the fact that they either don't like the thing or they do it themselves. And they're basically using that as a situation to say, well, I find this morally deplorable, therefore everyone else should as well.
Can someone
Yeah,
tell me?
what actually happened to me?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay.
No, I was just gonna ask if you guys had heard about. I read something somewhere. I can't even remember all the stuff I've been reading because I was intrigued by the enemy, quote unquote enemy. What is up with them saying if you're, I don't know, for example, not Mexican or not Spanish, you are not allowed to speak Spanish, or if you're not German, you're not allowed to speak
appropriation.
Cultural appropriation.
Yes, cultural appropriation. What is up with that?
A lot.
It's this hilarious idea that I'm like the SJW dictionary. Anyway, it's this
Someone should publish that.
from a certain culture, you're not allowed to take
definitely.
part in it. It's basically saying that if for example, if you're not Asian, then you shouldn't eat Asian food or do Asian culture things, essentially.
No dreads if you're not black, etc.
Yeah.
Follow a
Isn't that
knight
like the
code.
same argument with
Knights are
like?
appropriating my culture.
Isn't that like the same thing with like interracial marriage?
Something like that. I mean, it's from the same line of bigotry that's saying that like every culture should be separate. Nobody should ever mix ever in anything. If anything, that's stifling diversity.
on my
Okay, so
side,
Gwen wanted to say something.
They preach.
Sorry, Ivy, you were
Gwen?
saying?
Well, they preach diversity to the extreme. They preach liberal teachings and liberal way of life to the point that they actually are completely against it. It's just so hard to understand. I mean, I am a minority in every sense that I can like describe in America, and I still get attacked every single day. And when I finally spoke up, okay, I'm a girl, I have lady parts, I have a freaking uterus, I've got issues that I hate transsexual people. And I've
Oh,
been
what, someone called you
attacked like
transphobic?
Yeah, they screen capped it.
Yes. Evan Miles Chong and that Dina person that is lately all over the place because she
He is
sending
just a
hate
joke.
to everybody and don't want to refund them money. People like those. But to all that, I just like muted them. I wrote a blog about it. I apologized to any possible transgender person on my wording. If I offended somebody, I'm sorry. If you're transgender and I offended you, I'm sorry, but nobody else deserves apology.
Well, I was involved
And
with you on that.
I
Oh,
looked
sorry.
into their profiles. So they're the people who publicly preach that all men should be killed. The girl who's been up to my throat in tweets for almost 24 hours was one of the strongest opponents of men in general, and she has a Tumblr, and she's leading a campaign against all men on Reddit. So
You need some hobbies.
I think they just need a big hug.
Right, so,
Hugbox,
okay,
internet hugbox.
That's fair enough. Okay, so Gwen said she had something very important to say, so we'll let her go ahead right now.
This is just something I want to say about all of Gamergate. Before any of this started, I'd go into a lobby for, say, Torchlight or League of Legends or Dominions 3, and I'd find people and they'd ask me, what's your class? What are you planning to play? What's your play style? And how are you going to play the game? And that would be it. No one asked me if I was female. No one asked if I was Asian or white. Overall, especially when you're playing social games with gamers, they don't really ask any of these questions. It doesn't really matter. All that matters is, hey, do we have compatible playstyles? Do we want to do this thing together? You know, they don't. It's not about, are you white or black, disabled. It doesn't matter to gamers. It only has really mattered to these people that are attacking us, that we identify ourselves. I mean, if I play in a game and I become friends with someone, then maybe, we'll learn some about each other. But what it came down to was, we're getting together for this moment in time to just play a game. And when I stream on Twitch, or other people stream on Twitch, yeah, you might know that person's sex or whatever, but they're not going to go around asking their followers, who are always fellow gamers, what their nationalities or sexes or whatever are. And if all you hear is my voice, you don't know anything else about me unless I tell you. You're there to watch me play a game, or mod a game, or do whatever I'm doing with games, and just listen. You're not there to figure out, am I white? You need to have a face cam. I need to know what color your hair is. Did you paint your nails? It doesn't really matter to gamers. It's these people that are attacking us that it matters to. If it was up to us gamers, we wouldn't need to have all of our women talking in a chat just to say that we're women and we play games.
And we don't see misogyny everywhere.
That's well said. That's perfect. And you're right, because the sensationalization of the victimhood of women in gaming is harrowing, to say the least, because they want to push this idea that it's impossible to be a woman who plays games, or it's impossible to be a woman in I don't know, interested in nerd culture in general, because you encounter so much vitriol. But the thing is, you encounter just about as much vitriol as anyone else for opening your mouth. The thing about a troll or just a douchebag online is they'll find some reason, any reason, to discredit you. They might insult you because you're a woman, because you're gay, because you sound funny, because you're black, even if you're a white guy. I mean, literally, people just will find every reason. And I think that what you said is correct. A lot of the time, most gamers literally do not care. And the amount of female gamers you'll meet in stuff like League, and stuff like World of Warcraft, and stuff like Call of Duty, and so on, you meet them all the time, and most of the time, nobody's gonna, give them 20 questions or anything. That's the honest truth. So thanks for that. That was a very good definition. I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to sacrifice some people because I need to get someone else in here, and I don't want the stream to explode.
I can
anybody
go.
wants to... yeah, I know. This seems horrible.
I'm going because it's nearly midnight in the UK, so I will bow out now and I'll listen to the rest of it on YouTube, I guess.
All right, thank you guys. Sorry about this. I wish
no
I
problem.
I'll have to follow all of you on Twitter at some point. Hope if I can remember what all your Twitter names are.
Yeah.
Here, I want to follow all of you too, so I'll just write it down.
Cool.
All right, pass it on the list for me. Bye.
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 All right, thanks for joining. Okay.
Can I interject something really quick?
Yes, go ahead. That's fine.
I don't know why. I feel like this again due to cultural differences, but I experience gaming culture here in my country very differently. There's none of this. Okay, I won't say none of this, but there's very little trolling and hating going on. So maybe I just can't relate. I guess because I've never been hated on in my life by anyone for enjoying video games or any kind of nerdy thing.
I haven't either, but I don't really play with any of the people I know in real life because most of them aren't gamers.
Yeah. I've been playing MMOs since 13, and the only time I see something for women in those games are against women or for women. It's we get a lot of privileges being women in games, especially if you're really good, and then later on you tell them that you're a woman. They usually give you a lot of free stuff. No, it's really true. Like if I been in the guild for a while and like I go on their call, usually they're like, "You want free stuff?" Like they are really nice people, and I've been playing for a while before I start going to school for game development, and all of them treat me like equal. Like I don't understand why these SJWs would think like we get treated differently.
We
You
get
know,
treated awesome.
we
I
get
think
treated
that's
awesome.
that's the reality for all girl gamers. I think that's why it's awful, but that's part of why we like playing games. We get pampered a lot.
Really?
A lot. Like, I play usually Korean MMOs, so they have like a lot of buy gifts and stuff like that. Like not Call of Duty, so that feel. Um, we love getting pampered. Like it's the best thing ever.
It's awful, but it's true. Uh,
I don't even play many MMOs, but I have so many friends who play MMOs, and two of them, one was a girl, one's a guy. They're always like, "Come play with me, join my guild." I'm like, "No, I'm not really into that. I like PlayStation games mostly, and you can it's great what you do, but I don't want to join." And they're always like, "Oh no, we're so sad. Why didn't you join us?" And they're really inclusive and so nice. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe that's just my personal experience, but
Yeah.
it's been great.
I've never had a bad experience, ever.
Nope.
It's terrible.
think-
So you're standing there being like, it's like you're saying, "I had a great childhood," and everyone around you had a really terrible childhood.
Yeah, I mean, it's not to discount the experiences of women who have had bad experiences. We're just saying that we don't. Part of my job, I guess, quote unquote, as the Not Your Shield guy, is to just promote this idea that everyone's experiences are different. It's to promote diversity. I want to break the narrative that it's all about women's victimhood. It's all about all women are victims of some great, conspiracy to keep them down, especially in gaming. And the reason why these ladies here are sharing their experiences is they're trying to say that, well, no, for them, gaming has been vastly different to what people will tell you, the horror stories that the news will tell you. So that's the point. We're not diminishing the victimhood of people who have genuinely had problems and had genuine harassment. We're trying to say that, like with all things in life, there's good and bad. So that's the point we're making.
I guess you can call it harassment, but like, I mean, people's gonna be assholes. Just like, I'm sorry, but like, are gonna be assholes. Like, especially in game development, and my instructors above me, they are as cruel to me as they are to other men who are doing the exact same thing that I'm learning. So, like, people are sometimes cruel because they want to be honest with you. So if you're bad, you're bad.
I think I read an article on that about damn it, I read so much I forgot where it was, about how when women want to join something that is called like a men's field and they can't deal with the rough tone. Something about that is that girls in relationships, like in girl friendships, it's mostly they're being really nice and they don't want to criticize and they sugarcoat everything.
Yeah,
And
I've
then
heard
they
that a
just
lot.
bitch behind their backs.
I've
And
heard
that's
that a
their way
lot.
of
Like
venting.
I've always thought that was a cliche, but I mean, I guess maybe there's some truth in it. Like, would you ladies say there's some truth in that?
A bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And guys are more honest, so when it gets rough, girls can't adopt because they are used to this sneaky kind of fighting.
Oh yeah, passive aggressive for the win.
Yeah, I guess so. It's like, so basically, when they enter a quote-unquote male-dominated space, they're not used to the fact that guys they'll treat you like guys. They'll basically just
Yeah.
insult you, laugh
Yes.
at you, and treat you
They,
like
they
everyone
feel like
else.
it's because they're a woman, but it's actually just because they're seeing them as an equal. And
Yeah.
they're gonna go, "No, you hurt my feelings."
I see what you mean. Okay, so we'll move on to a question while we're waiting for. There's two ladies who are trying to join at the moment, so we'll move on to a question. This question says, what does everyone in the stream consider our biggest victory so far? So our biggest victory for Gamergate so far.
Wow, that's a hard question.
My opinion, it would be the Google group.
You mean finding out about the Game Journal Pros mailing list?
Yes.
Thank you, Base Nero.
God. Like, we finally have hard evidence that these guys have been terrible, like, cronyism for years. Since last year, right? Or a few years ago, 2009.
Yeah, that we found out that this has been going on for a while, and that unfortunately the rabbit hole goes even deeper. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, so
I
yes,
think
go
we
ahead.
all suspected it. We just didn't have any proof.
Yeah.
Everyone suspected it about every, not even just game journalists, all journalists. Come on. We just have proof about these guys.
They can't even
I
get them
think
right
our
when they
biggest
try.
victory. I think our biggest victory is that we lasted for so long despite all the attacks we had to endure. And everything we had to go through, we're still alive and kicking and going strong.
Yeah, definitely.
And we are slowly making some changes, and I think that's the biggest victory. So.
Nice.
Shows all the solidarity that there isn't, I guess. Well, they say there isn't, but it apparently is there.
I mean, I'll tell you what though. Just to talk a bit over you guys. I'm sorry. I'll tell you what. Basically, I have always been suspicious of Kotaku, Polygon, Rock Paper Shotgun, Destructoid, all of those people. I've always been wary of them. It's kind of in the middle, and that's why I think they're cool because they have like Yahtzee and people like that. But with those websites, I'd always felt there was something off about them. The stuff they said in their articles, like Polygon, every single day it was, women's victimization, this, gender politics, that. Every single article had some sort of like loaded agenda. It really bothered me. Kotaku every so often was the first person to basically antagonize gamers for doing something wrong, and the fact that there's a reason for it, it's almost like my suspicions have been confirmed that these people are morally bankrupt. They're as morally bankrupt as their writing suggests. For that to actually be proven to me in real time, I just thought like, wow, I can't believe that it's not just me who notices this. Because the reason why I never was public about stuff like this before, because it's like these sites are popular. If I said something like, I don't like Kotaku, I don't like Polygon, no one would say anything. They'd be like, yeah, whatever. But to find out that other people realize that the sites are like this, I don't know, it was a cathartic feeling. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling now. We just got a new contributor. Hello, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Lisa, can you hear us?
She there?
Hello?
Hello there.
Lisa? I don't think she's talking.
I see lots of black things here. Like there's no picture.
It's showing that her microphone is muted.
Lisa, yeah, I was gonna say, is your microphone muted? By the way, surprise, I'm here too.
Hi.
Hi.
Were any of you guys in the stream last time? Have I met any of you yet?
A lot of these ladies are new.
Oh, cool. Well, hello. My name is Katie. I came in like the very last bit of the last stream. So.
I think I remember.
She's
Hi, Katie.
she's an OG. Okay. I think Lisa's having some problems at the moment, so we'll give her a second.
Oh no. To answer the question oh, go ahead.
I was just about to say you can answer that question while she figures her microphone out.
Okay, cool. For me, I think that the biggest thing, okay, well, I have two answers. Like one, the thing that we can actually see physically, like the good that we can physically see, is the money raised for the Fine Young Capitalists and the suicide prevention thing. And that wasn't just specifically Gamergate, but it had a lot to do with Gamergate people. So I thought that was pretty cool. But on the other hand, I think that just this whole conversation about that, hey, these guys maybe aren't doing things the way they should be, that was even brought up in the first place and brought to light, like that I think is the biggest thing that Gamergate has done, and that's our biggest like win, just to have this be actually openly talked about now, and you know, people are looking for solutions. So yeah, that's what I think.
Good. Fine. I'd say that's a fair assessment. Oh, well, I think I heard a crackle for a second there. I think Lisa's still having issues communicating. Lisa, can you hear any of us? Can you type in the chat if you can hear us? Oh.
I think she
Oh,
typed
apparently,
something.
yeah, she says she's using Linux. I see what the problem is now. Suddenly the problem becomes clear.
Yeah. My father's a fan of Linux.
I had to use Linux for about a year, and what a nightmare.
Oh
yeah,
no.
I couldn't really warm up to it either.
I
was a
just use it
problem.
as a backup.
Okay, I shall. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I just got a question. I was about to do something else, but okay. It's a question from Twitter. It says, with regard to the depiction of sex workers in video games, what are the stances on actual sex workers in real life?
I think it should be legalized and regulated.
Okay.
Me
Oh,
too.
but here they are. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Netherlands?
Yeah, seriously, the best sushi restaurants are in the red light district of my town. It's amazing.
Okay, anyone else have an opinion on that?
Oh, sure. I'll give my 2 cents real quick. I don't know. I don't really like feel very strongly about it one way or the other, but I mean, it's not hurting anybody. If that's what somebody wants to do, then I mean, that's fine. I mean, honestly, looking back, that kind of stuff has been a part of human culture for, you know, just pretty much probably since humans existed. Yeah, forever. I mean, you know, especially in ancient Greece, it was very popular to have. And to have those kind of places, and for people to be able to go to those kind of places, showed that you were like somebody of high class. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair assessment. And okay, I think Lisa's finally sorted out her mic, so hopefully we'll get her talking. Hello, Lisa, can you hear us? Hello?
Mic is muted.
Can you hear me yet?
Yay!
Yes, I think so. It's like it's giving some
Yes,
feedback, so I had to lower it a bit. Well, we can hear you now.
You're alive!
I see. I see. Yes, I am. So, like, yeah, guys, go on, go on. Don't let me stop you.
Oh no. Now that you're here, we're going to put you on the spot, actually. So prepare yourself.
Oh,
okay, so now that
God.
you're here,
I hate that.
the question I'm going to ask you is the same question I ask all the ladies that join the stream, and that is, what has your experience of Gamergate been like so far, and what do you think of the movement as a whole?
It's really inclusive. It's really friendly. I've met a lot of people who I like, and really nobody in there seems like it sounds too much like a jackass. There's a lot of talk about SJWs, and I'm not entirely sure if that should be included in the conversation, but at the same time I can get how people feel about them, considering I do have experience interacting with SJWs on Tumblr, and it's just like horrific over there. It's like literally like a bloodbath between SJWs and anti-SJWs, and with lots of innocents caught in between. But yeah, it's been really friendly. I don't quite understand where people get the whole we're harassing female devs out of development, out of the industry sort of deal. It's, from what I've seen, it's just everybody's really friendly, really nice, whatever.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. That's great. Thanks for that. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's great. The question I'm going to ask now, and this goes to all the ladies, is how do you feel about the perspectives of female game devs that was recently published in the article on the Escapist magazine? If you've read it. If you haven't read it, then don't worry, you don't have to answer.
Oh, wow. Read it a little bit.
Only number 5 was informed about what Gamergate is about, and I think everyone else was thinking that it's about misogyny and trying to get rid of them, which is kind of ironic because I'm going to school for game development and I'm a female and everyone has been really nice to me. So I don't know where it's coming from, but
Well, it's coming from all of the quote unquote bad articles that are so prevalent. I mean, there's hardly any positive articles about Gamergate. So all the stuff that these people are seeing, all the media that they're consuming from this is either from people they know, their friends, or all of these other sites that paint Gamergate in a very bad light.
Exactly.
So that's,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think that they're honestly just misinformed. It's not like they're, they're like that they hate us or anything. I mean, maybe some of them feel very strongly, but I
Yeah,
think that they're
exactly.
just misinformed.
I think to be informed about
one of
Gamergate,
the,
you have to
the
sit
very
down
first
and read a
person,
lot.
She was talking about how
Mhm.
Gamergate was basically a PR spin. So
Mm.
it's just
Yeah.
I,
Well,
I
oh, go ahead.
I really want to trust the escapists on that, but I'm a huge skeptic because I know people that are in the industry. They work from when they wake up to when they go to bed. I don't know how they can find the time to write or talk, really. Like sometimes when I'm in the mode where school is really hectic, I don't have time for any of this. So I don't get how these people can have the time to say that they still play like a lot of games, especially number two, because they state that they play a lot of games. I don't get
Well,
it.
Well, if they have free time, if it's somebody who's really busy and they work a really long day and then they come home and they only have maybe 3 or 4 hours free time, they're not going to go and look at something that might upset them. They're going to sit down and play games. I mean, they're actively avoiding it. If that is the case.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's because I mean,
really only like the fifth person had a really nuanced sort of view. She was good. I liked her. Everybody else is either misinformed or just straight out, like, I guess, lying.
no, I wouldn't. Okay, I
don't
wouldn't
wanna
go as
say
far to say
lying,
that they're
but they
misinformed
had
because
they had negative opinions that weren't very
yeah,
true.
because like they weren't misinformed because I can understand it was it's their experience and maybe they've read one or two things that might not have represented the story correctly. But what I saw reading those accounts was fear. I just saw nothing but this fear narrative gripping them, where it's just like, oh my god, like the walls are closing in, industry figures getting harassed left, right, and center. Should I even be making games for these people? That's what I was reading, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, like these people are genuinely shaken up. They really feel that Gamergate is this horrible sign that if you're a woman on the internet and you open your mouth, then they're going to lynch you. I think that's the impression they were giving, and
we need to fix that somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe,
we really do.
I mean, like, not that. I mean, like, we shouldn't be focusing only on females, maybe, but if we could do a thing like tweet about supporting like one indie female dev that we know, like maybe that would be okay. Just like talk nicely about them and show them and like tweet them our support.
Yeah, I mean,
even
on the
if
one,
they're like anti-Gamergate, just tweet something like that.
yeah, that's a good idea. But to go off of what you said earlier, that we shouldn't just focus on females. Like I definitely like logically agree with that. But these people, they're worried specifically about women in the gaming industry and how women are being treated within the gaming industry and like within like the gaming culture. So it might be beneficial to do something like this stream and like, maybe try and reach out to these people and say, hey, look at this. Here's some people that are in the middle of this. Here's some ladies. And, it's a little biased and sexist that, they'll listen to us just because we're women. But at the same time, that might be what they do,
Yeah,
maybe
and in fact,
maybe it would be like what would turn them, what would help them.
Exactly.
Convince them anyway.
You guys talked about how women in the industry are in fear of #Gamergate. That's like the same fear mongering that the media does for gun control in the U.S. Like they keep saying that people are going to take their guns away, the government's going to take their guns away, but all the government have done is deregulate gun control, even after Sandy Hook. So this is like the same thing. Like they're trying to tell these women in the industry that they should be fearful of this Gamergate thing because it's going after their income, but we're not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, something.
I don't know
go
about
ahead.
that. We kind of are. Like,
Well,
at
we
least
are
advertisement-wise. Is that? Or
we're
is that just for like the journalists? Dang it.
we're supporting women in
So, I mean, like
games.
sometimes we. Okay.
We are literally supporting
Sorry.
women in gaming.
Yeah. No, I know. It's just like. Then we talk about like the advertisement stuff, and I'm like, okay. Remember the Birch issue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Although
I
no,
should-
I,
I
I
should
still
mention,
think he should get fired.
I'm not sure how
He still
you
needs to get
ladies would
fired.
feel about me saying this, but because I think it's a sinking feeling I've had for a while now, and I wasn't just going to say it without asking the question to the very people who are concerned, and that is, what do you say to the feeling that people would have never taken Gamergate even slightly seriously if women hadn't gotten involved? Like, what do you say to that? That if women hadn't stood up for Gamergate, that people would still think this was misogynist. Do you think that's true?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do.
Yep.
Definitely.
It's a huge injustice for men.
Yep.
Because they are the people who buy most of these games. Unfortunately, like not the mobile one, but like they buy most of the console
The
games.
Halos and the Borderlands and the.
Well,
So-
and it's not just. Oh, go ahead. It's not just that either, but it's just the base fact that, well, if there aren't women involved, then we're not going to even bother to listen to what you're saying, even if it's a very valid, rational argument. Well, you're a man, you don't count. And then suddenly a woman comes along and, oh, okay, it counts now. That is just so, and they don't even realize how biased that is. And it's like surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean,
It's the
admittedly,
same thing.
nobody wants to be guilty of mansplaining. That's fine, but you're right. I mean, I don't want to say anything. It's like overstepping my bounds. I don't want to, because the point is to give people a voice, not to talk for people. My point is to deflect the idea that all women think the same rather than start thinking for them. So I was never going to say something like, yeah, but they think, because I'm not going to do that. But so I can see how it comes off as, quote unquote mansplaining. But even then, I still feel personally that to say that you can't even consider someone's viewpoint regarding an issue like this unless there's women involved. There's two sides to it. One, it's unfair and bigoted because you're basically saying, as a guy, you
don't have the same rights.
Admittedly, this involves both men and women, so men and women have to be involved. You can't talk about it without the other. So I can see how it's
an
problematic.
egalitarian movement. It didn't start out
definitely.
like very nicely.
It's what the
but
root.
It
It's
has
what
to be
the
seen as
roots.
egalitarian now, so it's important for themselves.
I think it's what the roots of real feminism represent too.
Yeah, I agree, definitely.
Yeah.
Because real feminism is saying we want to be equals, not we want to be better than you, not we want you to shut up and do what we say. It's not.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
I'm just reminded of that suffragette who demanded. What was her name? I can't remember. But she demanded to be
Emil
put into
Pankhurst?
jail for the same time as long as any of the other men for protesting for women's rights. That is what real feminism should be about.
Yeah, I wish that more people would. I mean, I'm taking this off of Gamergate for a moment. I apologize, but
That's fine.
I was raised by a single mother who has a master's in women's studies, and I grew up participating in rallies and things for feminism and gender issues and racial issues, all of this stuff, and I've seen the good that real feminism can do. And then I fast forward, and I'm 24 now, and it's this dirty word now that means something completely different, and it's like I wish that people would do more good things in the name of feminism to kind of show that, hey, it doesn't have to be bad.
And yeah, we're saying it. SJWs, you are not feminists. You are not feminists.
Yeah,
what
but
you
their
are doing
voices
is
are
not
loud,
feminism.
Yeah.
At all.
You know what the problem
Hate
is?
men,
Like,
kill all men, please. We need men. Men need us. The end.
Thank you. That was perfect. I mean, if you allow me to mansplain for a moment, I think that.
Go ahead.
I think that the problem
Please.
is that the co-opting the co-opting of stuff like feminism by SJWs is the problem, because these people aren't out to improve anything. They're not out to make things equal. They're basically out for themselves. They're out people down, and that's the problem. They're taking movements that are supposed to be. Yeah, I had a feeling I did. They're taking movements that are supposed to be about good, about egalitarian pursuits, and they're basically twisting it. And the worst part is that a lot of the time they gain so much support, they gain so much public support, and sometimes nobody really tells them. Nobody shouts them down. Nobody tells them to stop, and that's why some of these people. I wouldn't name any names. I don't want to bring any attention to that. But some of these people that, under the name of feminism, they do really horrible, stupid things, and they just get away with it, basically.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem.
Yeah, and I mean, not that feminism... Oh, go ahead.
As their shield as well.
Yeah.
But, and racism and other stuff.
The movement of feminism has never been like a perfect, wonderful thing either. But I feel like lately, in the recent years, because of like all of the social justice warrior type people using that as their label, it has almost become worse than what it had been. So, I mean, there was always good and bad to it. Not gonna lie about that.
Like with every movement, but I think it was less scathing would be a word.
That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, as I said, I was mansplaining, quote unquote. This is only from a third person perspective, so I can't say too much. But that's just what I've seen, because I think the issue with most people, and people, before anyone says that we're derailing, this has nothing to do with Gamergate, it semi-does and it semi-doesn't, in the sense that we're talking about political agendas and gender-driven bias when it comes to entertainment, and this is part of it. That when people inject an agenda into something, and they say, it's in the name of this, it's in the name of that. For example, you might write an inflammatory article about games and say, because feminism. I'm like, no, you're doing it wrong. You're not supposed to use a movement that's about the equality of human beings and say, this is why it victimizes women and this is why you need to listen to me. Like, that's a terrible thing to do, because you're basically devaluing the reality of the thing itself.
Mm-hmm. And it's one person trying to. Yeah. Well, it's one person trying to speak for an entire group, and to bring it back into Gamergate, I've actually seen that in Gamergate too recently. Earlier today, when I was at work on my lunch break, I was looking at Twitter, and there was something. It was like this. I can't even remember it, but it was basically this tweet that was like, oh, we need to do good stuff for Gamergate, but it had all these references to like war, like we're soldiers and this is a war of blah, and I'm like, that's really dramatic. Like, I am like, don't like, spread that around and say this is like Gamergate's like motto or whatever, because like that's, don't speak for everybody. That's crazy.
I think somebody said that Gamergate obviously it's a leaderless movement, but also that somebody said that we don't really have a leader, we don't really have a voice. Gamergate's about everyone's voices, and I agree. I think that this movement is about different people lending their support, different people from all different walks of life. I mean, what other situation can you name where conservatives, far left liberals, feminists, some SJWs, I guess, like all of these people are working together? Like, in what world would these people ever work together? Like, and that just shows you the power of gaming. Like, that it brings these people together.
World-ending scenario.
It otherwise wouldn't. And there's a beauty in that people are actually working together on something. And I admit, disclaimer, I get it. People are afraid that when there's no more conflict, we'll start fighting each other. People are afraid that some of the voices we've appointed to talk for us, they're just going to end up screwing us over when this is all over. And maybe they will, maybe they won't. But the point is that at the moment, we're working together. So once it's all done and we go our separate ways, I think we'll just remember that this is the point about gaming, that we can work together even if we don't always have to. I think that's a good thing, personally. So I think I'm looking for more questions, by the way. I don't want to talk too much.
I
had a question earlier and I don't remember.
It's okay.
Something about those articles. What do you guys think? So a lot of those articles, the ones by the different devs, the female devs, said that it seemed like they thought that Gamergate was about a bunch of gamers being afraid of their games changing, or that our games are going to be taken away. And I haven't really seen any kind of discussion about that sort of thing in anything really relating to Gamergate. It's been all about journalism and representing people equally, and et cetera, et cetera. So where do all of you guys think that's coming from? Why do you think that they think that we're afraid that our games are going to change? Because a lot of people in Gamergate I've seen are like, we want games to be more like diverse and interesting with better characters. So what do you guys think?
I think it's the misunderstanding that comes when people talk about the SJWs. It's like it's just going into the SJW thing again, but people are like hearing a lot about the SJWs coming in to ruin games, or so they say, and I guess they like just extrapolate from that, or maybe it's just like talk going on outside of the tag. I mean, you can't exactly
because
see what's going on outside of that.
I think it's because of the Gone Home and Depression Quest that people think that all the comments in the comment section that they're trying to attack them so that they'll get out of the industry. But really, we don't really care if you make those games. We just don't want to play those games.
There will be people who want to play them.
Yeah, that's why you don't silence people for like making the game they want to make. You just the gamers just want to play the games they want. So, like,
I honestly
sometimes
played both. I was curious, and I played both. And I can honestly say I did not like them at all. Depression Quest isn't even a game. It's more like, one of those Goosebumps books where you read and pick your adventure. But
in a way that's like could be a game.
I saw a review on that where someone was arguing that it's meant to be this boring, which is why it is art.
Yeah, I would say that Depression Quest is more of an art piece than like a quote unquote game. I mean, as an art piece,
they didn't even do any of the research properly. Like, I know because I have depression. I've been medicated, and I can honestly say it was like a half-assed attempt at explaining depression.
They didn't explain depression with mental illness either, because my best friend died a few years ago, and I was in depression, but I wasn't medicated, and I had anxiety disorder and stuff like that. But like they didn't say it's just like the most like it's like a 13-year-old trying to explain what depression is. Like, I don't get it.
It was terrible. They didn't get any medical. They didn't do the research. They did not talk to experts. They just said, "Oh, so today your girlfriend calls you and tells you she wants you to come to a party, and you're so sad, so you decide not to go. You decide to go but just sulk in a corner, or you decide to jump off a bridge."
That sounds like high school teen
Actually,
depression.
It was like
one of those personality tests.
You never get the chance to kill yourself in the game.
You don't
All you do is
get to
just
kill
make it
yourself.
like a neat. Which is kind of ironic considering she does to Wizard Chan later. So whatever.
And just to interject for a second, because obviously you ladies are having a great conversation, I don't want to take up too much time. But the funny thing is that people are saying that people are just reacting to new forms of media, and they don't want people to develop diverse games. And the thing is, this is yet another classic case of the internet having selective memory and forgetting history. Let me give you a quick story. People say that, obviously, yeah, blah, 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 we don't want diverse games, we just want to have the same games, we don't want to have our games taken away. Then why are some of the biggest games in recent memory some of the most independent and creative games? In fact, there's this one game, right, that, because if we're going to talk about, psychological issues, there's this one game that deals really well with the idea of cognitive dissonance, with trust issues, with dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, with dealing with basically trust amongst your friends and stuff like that, and dealing with grief and dealing with loss. And you know what that game's called? That game's called Spec Ops: The Line. That's a really disturbing game. It's an action game where a bunch of soldiers go to Dubai to rescue civilians, but when they get there, they find out that something's wrong. Civilians are being killed, and the American soldiers are all fighting each other. And it's a spiral of events happen that really could take you down a dark path where some really horrible things happen, and you as the player commit really horrible actions. And that game came out, and it got universal acclaim. People thought it was fantastic. Nobody said, ew, it's bad because it's not like other games. People thought it was amazing, right? And that was a game that dealt with social issues in a really good way. So when people tell me that gamers don't want games to change, I'm like, shut up. Like, no, that's not true at all.
Of
like,
course
and also,
it's not true.
if that's the case,
Personally,
why
I
is
love
Minecraft
Just need
a
them
thing?
on. Change and be fun.
Wait, before anything, I forgot. In Depression Quest, they don't ask if you want to be a male or a female or a trans or a. They just throw you into the role of a male.
It's always a
that's so
female.
sexist.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You're right.
Well, maybe
I played it myself once. I guess.
I don't know.
Now, that's just an observation, not that I mind, because I don't care if I play a guy or a girl or a cat person, like in Skyrim.
If Depression Quest had the main character as a cat person, I'd play the hell out of it. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
I
though,
would
like,
too,
as I
just
said,
for the
that-
novelty. Like, what the hell?
You know, the idea that people are afraid that their game is going to be taken away. It's a narrative woven from cosmic energy. They're basically taking probably one or two comments from a bunch of people who might have said, "Ew, go away," or "Shut up, bitch," or whatever, and they're basically using that to extrapolate that all gamers have this problem. But the thing is, nobody has a problem with new and diverse experiences. Think about how big a game like Minecraft is, right? And how that really changed the industry. Something like that was huge. But the reason why this influenced people is because, Notch, Mojang, they made Minecraft, and they created this experience that swept, the entire world of gaming. And people loved that. But what Notch didn't do is he didn't start off by criticizing the current state of games and saying all of your games suck and they need to change and need to have more women and blah, blah, blah. He just made his own game, and he was successful. That's the biggest difference. Our problem isn't that someone's going to take away our games. Our problem is somebody's trying to actively change and censor our games instead of making their own.
Something I noticed with Minecraft, being a Minecraft modder, there's this Minecraft modder who's a female also, iPixelly. She was unhappy, I guess. Not unhappy because she totally loves Minecraft, but she was not content with having a Steve Minecraft character. What did she do? She created the gender mod. And it was one of the most successful Minecraft mods you can imagine. Because you got to pick if you got to be a female or a male, and she called, I think, what was the female called? It was Steve and... Oh, I can't remember right now. But you got to choose when you started your Minecraft game if you wanted to be a male or a female. And she actually got recordings of female hurt sounds, like when you fell and stuff. And so she did something about it. And she is so acclaimed in the Minecraft community because of it. It's like, if you don't like something, then do something to change it. Don't whine about it.
That's awesome. I hope that more people will take those steps, because I mean, even if there is like somebody with a social justice warrior type of mindset, if they feel that strongly about something, like, put that energy to use. Be creative. Make something. Change. Yes. Be that change.
I'm sorry, but if I got $160,000, I would pay to go to get my master. Like there's just no other way. Like, I will probably try to get a fucking PhD in computer engineering as well. Like, if I have that money. Like, oh my god, that's such a waste of money. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, I really want to make games.
Yeah, I think a lot of us do. And if not make them, enjoy them, but yeah.
Yeah. Like,
so definitely, I think that, obviously there are some people who react negatively to new experiences. That nobody's denying that, but the difference is when a bunch of people are against a new project like Minecraft or whatever, that doesn't stand in the face of the overwhelming majority of people that support it. However, if an overwhelming majority of people do not like something like Depression Quest, that doesn't mean they're just a bunch of haters. Well, sometimes it's not majority rules because they're right, but sometimes they've got a point. The consumers vote with their wallet. Yeah, consumers vote with their wallet. If people aren't willing to buy a product and they're not happy with it, whether or not it's a game or whatever, is besides the point. You know what else people don't really consider a proper game? Like, okay, not necessarily a proper game. If we're talking about labels, right? But like in the fighting game community, for example, people don't consider Super Smash Brothers a fighting game, but that's still one of the most successful fighting games, quote unquote, in the world. So regardless of what people call it, a fighting game or not, it's still successful. However, with something like Depression Quest, whether or not it's a game, that's besides the point. Not that many people like it. That's just how it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And with some game like Gone Home, it costs $10 for 3 hours of walking around a house.
It's,
I was kind of disappointed. I just wanted something to jump out at me from the shadows, and I was like, ugh.
And
Right.
Could have been a fantastic horror game. It could have been a fantastic horror game.
It would have been a great horror game.
I personally have no problem with that game. I think that I think that it was made for a certain kind of people, and like the people that kind of want that certain type of experience are going to gravitate towards that game. It's not a game for everybody that anybody can just pick up. It's for a very certain kind of person with maybe a certain kind of feeling or emotion or whatever. You know, it's like it's. Whoa, my goodness! Wow,
Ooh,
on the Steam description for Gone Home, it says it's a thrilling adventure game, which is extremely, extremely false.
well, the thing is, games are so popular right now that they gonna put the label of a game on visual novels. There should be a difference between visual novels and interactive novels, actually.
Stuff like Dear Us, for example, that would be a visual novel.
And Gone Home are not games. So there's not failure. You cannot fail Gone Home.
You're without a failure state, yes.
Well, but what necessarily defines a video game? What do you have to have in order to have it be a video game? I mean, do you have to have, say, a score? Do you have to be able to?
You have to have some kind of challenge, I believe.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think that in a lot of ways, and I'm saying this from the perspective as an artist, video games can not only be something that you play and that you enjoy and that has some kind of like task or goal in it, but it's also a mode of storytelling, like an interactive mode of storytelling that, you know, maybe somebody would make a game where the only quote-unquote goal is just to explore and like enjoy this environment or something. It could be like the simplest game. It would probably maybe be boring to a lot of people, but you know, if that's like, I don't know, do you guys get what I mean? Like,
I get what
like a flower.
Yeah.
Well, some people.
But maybe there should be a different word, because I mean, I think that video games like it's like a tree almost. It's like video games down at the bottom, and there's like a bunch of different things, different types of games, and maybe that type of game should have like its own title, like we were saying earlier. But I still personally think they're games.
You can still call them
definitions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think to give another perspective on this whole thing, just because obviously I gave the example of Spec Ops: The Line and I gave the example of Minecraft. Even though this isn't necessarily an indie game, another game that has really not quote-unquote changed the industry, but has given a new diverse experience and has been a complete kind of, you know, shot to the arm in terms of the game industry, and, you know, created some creativity, is Dark Souls. Dark Souls is a cultural phenomenon because what Dark Souls did was it revived the culture of stupidly hard RPG dungeon crawlers that had been missing for a couple of years. Like, adventure games had gone down a more general path where they're much more flamboyant, much more extreme and easily accessible, and the really stupid hard RPGs, those had kind of died out for a while, because most of the time we either had, you know, over-the-top hack and slashes like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta, or we had simple adventure games like, you know, Skyrim, right, which are just more about fun and going nuts. But with Dark Souls, it brought back that aspect of kind of dark, disturbing, grueling battles, and that was fantastic to people. If this whole idea about gamers being opposed to change or differences, then why is Dark Souls just, you know, such a big thing? Now we're going to get Bloodborne, which is his spiritual successor on PS4. Now we're having games like Lords of the Fallen, which is inspired by Dark Souls. Dark Souls has created a culture of its own. You see, when something comes along that's different and diverse and new, and it strikes a chord with people, and the consumers pay with their wallet, and that becomes a part of the gaming industry. You know, and Dark Souls, for all intents and purposes, is inclusive. I mean, it's RPG. You can create a character, male or female, you know, and that works for people. You know what I'm saying, right? So something like that. Dark Souls is a game that came along. It had no agenda. It had no victim politics. It had no aim to change the industry. It just said, here's this game. Kind of fun. If you enjoy it, we'll make more. And that's what happened. And that's the way it's supposed to work. Gaming is capitalism. If you make a game and it's good, people will like it and they'll make new ones. You can't force change on people. That's not how it works.
Yep.
I think the people who
Very well
make
put.
games like
A
the
lot of
Dragon
times it'll
Quest,
backfire
like,
too. It's just like human nature.
just those games,
Mm-hmm.
they make a game that's a little bit different, and it's not that good, and they just justify it that it's not popular and not well liked because it's different. It's not because it's not good. They just don't want to admit it that it's not a quality product. I think that's what's the problem.
Yeah, it sometimes I think is people not understanding the difference between like saying that, oh well, this game's sex, or saying this game is bad because blank. You know, like they can't differentiate between what's real critique and what isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all said.
No, Gwen.
Yeah, and Gwen just rejoined.
Hi, Gwen.
Okay, cool. Now, okay, I'll move on to another question if everyone's interested.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I don't know how to ask this question properly.
Say it. Just say it the way it was written. Yeah.
Go ahead.
You don't get it,
Do
damn
it.
Do it.
We can take it.
All right. No, okay. To be fair, I was talking to this person on Twitter. They seem well-meaning. I think they're just asking it from a slightly misinformed position, but I'll just give you the benefit of the doubt. It says, do you think women who want to compete with men in games should up their game, or do you think games should be made for the less skilled?
I don't think gender has anything to do with your amount of skill playing video games. For starters.
I
don't.
Well, can you read the question again? I didn't quite understand the last bit. So are they saying that if a woman wants to enter into the games industry, that she should try harder in order to be equal with men? Is that what they're saying? Or
Yeah, it says that like
I think what
should
he's
women.
implying is that women are not as good as men naturally. So should we?
Well,
should
no, I know
women
actually.
try harder, or should we?
through
Or should the
talking with her
lower
on Twitter.
standard be lowered?
Yeah, through
Well,
talking on Twitter, they basically meant it's a matter of practice because, as a general assumption, it's because girls don't play competitive games as much on average. They feel that should women just be told to, meet the standard, or should we give, special credence to
Standard?
Well,
No,
depends on the game. I bet
You
I
also
could
have to.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, you can talk.
I was just gonna say it depends on the game and how much you play it. I bet if I don't know, if they came on Killing Floor, I'd probably wipe their butt on all over the floor. Like, just depends on what game you play and how much you play it. That's the amount of time of how good you are or not.
Yeah, I don't think Oh, go ahead.
No, it's fine.
All right. No, if I'm understanding the question, right, it sounds like they're asking if women should have handicaps or something. No, I don't think
that's
so.
kind of what I was asking. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't.
It's like
I think that's
boosts,
ridiculous.
I guess.
No, that's absolutely ridiculous. I don't care if a guy or a girl. If you play a game well, you play a game well. If you suck at a game, well, that's just too bad. I don't care what your gender is.
Yeah, you're right. I think you know what it is though as well.
Yeah.
To give the guy the benefit of the doubt, this does come from a general perception. This isn't so much with gaming
sure.
in terms of competition, but it comes from this kind of situation where it's like outside of people who genuinely know about gaming, men and women included, whenever a girl plays a game, especially a competitive game, against a guy who's clearly better than her, it always creates this awkward situation where it's like, if you beat her mercilessly, then you beat a girl, and if you get beaten, then you got beaten by a girl. And I think that's what creates this idea where it's like, should we take it easy on them, or should they just be held to the same standard?
I think something. How should I put this? The only way you are going to get better at something is if you play against people who are better than you, because your learning curve is steeper, and you will gain more experience by watching other people who play better than you. So I don't think women should have handicaps in games. If at all it matters your gender, but whatever. No one should have a handicap. If you're a noob, you're a noob. Doesn't matter if you're a woman, a man, a kid, or whatever.
Amen. Preach it, sister.
Amen.
Yeah, well said.
Also.
No, I think everybody should be on an equal playing field. I would be the happiest person on earth
if we have to practice what we preach,
each other
basically.
outside of gender in general. Like, let everybody be zero and neutral, and see where it goes from there. Like, I don't want to have like a separate list for men in Call of Duty and women in Call of Duty. Let them all jumble all together, and you don't know who is playing who. Just do it.
Yeah, that's well said. But then I think that brings me to, this is a follow-up question. Nobody else asked this. I'm actually saying, what do you think of the notion of girl gamer as a cliche? And I don't mean like ladies like yourself, just girls who play games. I'm talking about the cliche of girl gamer.
Well, it really depends.
I just wish they wouldn't bring attention to themselves.
Like, okay, like for example, like let's say you're playing
I'll
League
just
of
continue
Legends.
afterwards, but I'm a 4chaner, so I have my own opinion.
Okay, but like, what for example, like just to give you an idea, like for example, a girl who, let's just say you're playing League of Legends or whatever, and you're typing in the chat, and then someone's like, "Oh, I'm a girl gamer. I'm a girl, by the way." Like they draw attention to the fact that they're a girl. What do you think of that?
Then they're not a girl. Then they're not a real girl gamer.
Well,
yeah,
I would say
It doesn't really matter.
I have a friend
if they want to talk.
Can I even be heard?
Yes, we can hear you, Gwen. Talk.
Yes, go ahead.
I just want to say one thing. I've been trying to be polite.
No, just jump in.
I don't like just jumping in. It's not where it comes where I'm used to. I play strategy games. I'm jumping in. Yeah, jump, kamikaze. I don't know. Crash the plane. All in. So I just want the girl gamer thing is, if you go in, it doesn't matter girl gamer. If you're an ex gamer, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't ignore the people in the background. It doesn't really matter. Like if you're like, oh, I'm a girl gamer. Oh no, you need to protect me or whatever. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. Just go and play the game. Someone says, oh, it's a girl, just ignore them because it doesn't matter. Like, there's two camps. There's the people that try to make themselves noticeable as girls, and there's people that go, it's a girl, it's a girl! But I primarily play in-depth strategy games and RPGs. So, give me one.
It sounds like you're about to kill someone.
And in these games, when you're talking about what games to play and who has skill, I get any of these people that go around and play these shooters and say, girls aren't good enough and I'm playing all these shooters. It's like, come play me in a strategy game. I'll mop you all over the floor because you won't know how to frickin' manage your resources. And I do turn-based strategy, very different from StarCraft. So this whole, do girl gamers have skill? Does anyone that doesn't know how to play the game have skill? Yeah.
No.
You can't just say it's just girls. Anyone that doesn't know how to play that genre of game or that specific game is going to suck at it. Anyone, guy or girl. Any one of these guys saying, girls don't have skill at shooters should come play against me in a strategy game. Really. I have a story.
While I agree, that's kind of the
like
equivalent
me
of saying that,
in an RPG game.
You beat me at that game, I'll beat you at my game. But I know what you mean.
Does anybody else have an answer to that question?
About the girl stereotype?
Well, yeah, about girls who like play it up and I'm a girl gamer, guys.
You know which ones really bother me? The ones who
personally
pose
don't
semi-naked
like that.
with controllers and they put them in their mouths.
Actually, I have a story about
I've seen that picture. I think
It's like,
I
no.
honestly think it's a parody. I feel like it's a
No,
parody.
but there's tons of them.
I've met one.
Gamer, put them on your boobs and just like, no.
I think that's
sorry.
I
met
think
one at
that's
my
up to
gaming
them
club.
as long as they're actual gamers and not just doing it for attention. Like if they're actual gamers and like whatever.
I had one of them try to destroy one of my club I was in high school because when they worked their way into power, and then I set up this community in my college. And there was like 80 people fluctuating to the office. It was a safe haven. Come play board games. We had video games. Just come between classes and play. I spent 4 years setting that up. This one girl comes in, plays nice with everyone, and then when she finally becomes president, she bans everyone from hanging out in the office. Says, "I don't really like gamers," and then proceeds to throw herself over all the male gamers that were elected alongside her.
Wow.
That's a girl gamer.
Wow.
Yeah. Hold on a second, guys. Gold, I've seen you try to speak a couple times. Do you have a story about this you'd like to share?
Huh? Me? No, I just never really met a girl like that, but I know girls like that. I think it's just a girl thing. Like
Well,
some
I see.
girls-
Queen Bee syndrome? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Teen girls, there's a lot of...
It's a
Well,
like,
I would like
like-
to say something.
Both guys and girls kind of like drama. Both guys and girls like drama. It's
yeah.
I don't really.
Well,
I think if a guy
specifically-
had the opportunity, then he would do that. It's just seen more in women because women can do that. Can do that and get away with that. But if guys had the opportunity, they might do that too.
Well,
Yeah,
guys do that too.
well,
Their
yeah.
voice gets deeper when they talk to girls. Stuff.
Specifically for this question, I
Never noticed.
at a job I used to work at. I used to work at a coffee shop, and there was a coworker I had who I loved her as a person, but at any point in time when she could drop like the fact that, oh, I'm a geek, I'm super geeky gamer girly, like she played it up so much, and it really, really got on my nerves because I'm like, okay, yeah, you have these interests, can you just like talk about them like a normal person without like every other sentence being like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a girl and playing this game, you know?
But
I feel like I
you
cut
know,
out there, but I mean, I've like actively like interacted with those people in my day-to-day life, and it's very frustrating because those are the kind of people that sometimes have the like really loud voices and that get the most attention, and then it just kind of ruins the reputation of everyone else who actually is just a regular person who plays games. I mean, it doesn't, you know, try and make it like the center of everything they are just for attention.
yeah, but you know, there's been this big pushback against these girls where there's certain male gamers in response to these girl gamers are going around telling the rest of us who aren't these girls, prove you're a girl, say this, and this, and it's like, but I'm not even interested in that genre. But this is this is a reactionary pushback against those girl gamers, supposedly girl gamers, that even we, the actual girl gamers, don't like, but we're getting caught sometimes in that crossfire, in that pushback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean. And you're right that the cliche is silly and harmful, but I feel like as long as people treat it the right way, then it's fine. And the funny thing is that it's funny that he asked that question about, you know, handicaps and all that, but it's like, and I hate to bring up you know who, but it's funny that people say stuff like how, you know, I'm going to bring her up, I'm going to say it, you know, how Anita Sarkeesian is such a influential voice for people and blah, 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 when this is the same woman who suggested to Electronic Arts that for them, you know, for the development of Mirror's Edge 2, they should make the controls easier for female gamers.
Oh no, come on. That's like my favorite game ever.
That's what she
They
said.
better not.
I want to play that game. Faith is like my hero. She's why I'm learning parkour.
The
Well, no,
best.
she's not, but she's partially why I'm learning parkour.
Yeah,
I
I'll
have
tell you
a-
what though, that Test of Faith achievement was
There
one of
are-
the hardest achievements to get
There
in
are
my life.
games for all different skill levels. And all
That's why there's
different
an easy
ability types.
Just practice the game enough so that you can understand the control and you'll be fine.
Or maybe it'd be better
She likes
playing in a different genre.
You'll get there.
I highly doubt she plays anything.
Maybe her
She
thumbs
only
don't work
she-
right.
she-
I have a question for everybody. Oh, go ahead first. You can go ahead.
No, I was just going to go. She probably doesn't play games, but she barely even reviews a tenth of the different gaming genres. And each genre has its own subculture, so I'm happy to see all our subcultures, you know, banding together.
Yeah. So my question is actually like, what do you guys think about that? There's a lot of gaming companies and a few game devs I know who are like, well, we need to hire a woman to come and consult our game to make sure it's not sexist. And like, I think that there was an interview with Matt from the Final Capitalist somewhere, and he was like, at some point, he was like, gonna pay Zoe Quinn to actually be consultant on what they were doing, their whole campaign.
No.
And I don't understand why is it that a woman has to be there. Just because she's a woman, does that mean that what her opinions and her ideas are going to like validate your whole thing? I mean, that's really sexist. It really is.
It's
You're just basing
tokenism.
her.
Well,
Yeah, you're
I
not
don't know.
basing
Like,
her on
they
her
really,
ability.
if they really feel like that, they should. But I
Well,
don't know. Like I feel
mean, it's
like
not hurting
game
anything, I
companies, if they
guess.
really feel like it's a good idea, then they could. But if it's
I think it has to do with that female
they
perspective.
wanted to do it. They didn't. It wasn't like forced on them or anything like that.
Well, no, I know, but I don't understand why
If they want to bring her on, then they can. I feel.
Oh yeah, but I don't understand why there's a want specifically for, well, we need a specifically female consultant for this game, and it can't be anybody else. It's like, why don't you judge based on their resume or their history in this job industry? Why do you have to pick her because she's a female? You know, I'd rather have.
As I said, that's
I've
the
heard
whole female
it's like a feminist term called lived experience. That's what I've heard. It's basically like a woman has lived experiences that a man can never know. So.
Oh no, I bleed every month. It's
a woman than a man.
I would love to see Zoe and Anita come to Mexico. I would just love it. I would just laugh my butt off. They would like be harassed every 2 seconds.
Oh dear.
Like.
I mean, may I interact? What are they doing? They're actually putting like everything the feminism done for women in, well, let's say Western society backwards.
Yes,
Women, our grandmas, our mothers fought for equality of women. And somewhere around 90s, 80s, everything was in that perspective. Everything was perfect. Everybody were equally paid. You had more women there, doctors, women there, pilots, women in the army, and now they're doing completely opposite of what the first original feminists fought for, and they're trying to say, oh, we are women, this is too hard for us, make it easier, patronize us, please.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like they're wanting. Well, a lot of what I've seen is that it's like, oh well, women need to be treated special, and we need to tiptoe around them to make sure that they're not offended by anything, and we need to baby them almost. And I really do not like that mindset.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is they could use
It's
that energy
patronizing,
they have and
it's just like feeding into that whole chivalry thing.
It's like this
it's
early
ridiculous
romantic mindset. A bit. Do any of you guys know this?
None of the chivalric codes, none of them, not even modern interpretations of the chivalric code, have anything to do with women.
And
That's
besides,
why
I don't mind a guy being
understand what all this
chivalrous.
chivalry is. It's
Total
not.
bromance.
All these knights know nothing about how to be a freaking knight.
But people who are saying all these things are people who never experienced the real oppression. None of them grew up in a third world country. Like
no one grew up on the
how
street.
Women are treated in Iran and like certain countries or Africa, they're treated like slaves, like property. Instead of concentrating the resources and power they have and solving a real problem, and getting women all over the world rights to go to school, to study.
And they're telling us we should be the ones fixing these problems.
But you'd be surprised. It's not just Arab countries or Africa. Like, I'm sorry I'm going on about this, but here in Mexico, people sell their daughters for a cow, or for like to other. Like seriously.
I actually heard about things like that, and that was happening in Eastern Europe, where I'm born and everything until recently. And I understand it, and I feel it, and I know how it feels like. And they should concentrate on problems like that.
It's us that need to be They want us, the gamers, to concentrate on that. Because I see them constantly telling us gamers that we're the ones that should, instead of worrying about games, be worrying about that shit. And I always tell them that we don't have the power to do all that. You know who does? They do, but they're telling us.
We can barely get them to apologize.
In fact,
we can barely get these guys to apologize even, and they expect us to go like stop this insidious problem.
But no, it's good that we're very on topic, because this next question I think is fantastic, and this one is obviously for you ladies here, and it says, do you feel that the women in Gamergate are being willfully ignored by the media more so than men?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know.
Nobody mentions Not Your Shield, except as except to like say, oh, it's another 4chan sock puppet account thing, you know?
Yeah, if they are
stupid.
mentioned, they are dismissed. They're
Right
dismissed.
away. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And does that not piss
Because
you
they
off?
know it doesn't. They know we don't fit their narrative. They know it. They absolutely do.
We're the uncomfortable truth. We're the pebble in the
On
shoe.
the-
We're the proverbial pebble in the
Yeah.
shoe.
Like, no, I'm saying, does
Yeah.
that not piss you off?
On the
that-
good hand, though, like I can see a silver lining, like the fact that only positive Gamergate articles are focused on Not Your Shield means like we could point them when people like look up what is Not Your Shield, for example, they can see that, and then they'll be redirected. They'll be directed automatically towards more pro Gamergate sites.
Yeah.
More pro Gamergate articles. So maybe if we could, I mean, like I'm just throwing this idea out there, but like maybe we
Yeah,
could
the
try
only,
to direct people to search up Not Your Shield first instead of Gamergate.
Yeah, the only two articles I've seen covered Not Your Shield directly are Cinema Blend did one, and Breitbart Nero did one. So, but the question I was going to ask is, does it not piss you off that this whole central narrative about it being about misogyny and sexist male gamers and stuff like that, doesn't it piss you off that in all of this talk they haven't once asked a single female gamer what they thought about this? They haven't asked anybody. They haven't talked to anybody. They haven't even acknowledged you guys exist.
Of course it does.
I cannot describe you how mad.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
But like, how are they gonna? What are they gonna choose one of us? We're not famous enough. We don't have enough followers.
Yeah, that's
Of course, and then they're going to. They're only going to talk to like the anti-Gamergatists.
They're going to talk
Never
to people
like
Arcadius
the
Arcadian
never the
and
ones who are
Astrophone, yeah.
actually on the other side.
We don't
It's
matter.
ridiculous.
We're not famous. If
Well,
only I had
why
started
we
streaming
don't matter
don't
is
support
because we
them.
don't play victims. We get harassed. We heard all sorts of vile spit at us every day, and we don't play victims, and we don't use it in our own advantage.
Actually, isn't it funny too that when a woman did stand up for Gamergate, aka Christina Summers, the media just made fun of her.
That's so sad. She's the first real scholar
Whenever-
on the playing field.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that that
Like
that,
a lot
that
of people respect
I think
her
they
in
have
mainstream
internalized
media.
misogyny.
I think that the treatment of Christina Sommers more
Externalized
than
misogyny in the case of the guy does.
Oh yeah. You
No,
you
no,
tell
continue.
one of them that your site is harassing women, they say no, they're not. Prove it. You prove it, and they say no, that's just a troll. It doesn't count. And that's what happens. I'm losing my voice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think Raspberry is trying to say something.
No, I
Sorry.
wasn't. I don't know. I guess I forgot.
I'm sorry. I got upset. I apologize.
It's okay. What?
well, it's hard when there's so many people. Like somebody's gonna accidentally, and then there's lag too. So it's like somebody starts talking and somebody will interrupt them by accident. But
I wish we,
Right,
I
I
wish
mean-
we had one of those hand wave things.
Yeah. And I hate to do this. I hate to say this because it sounds confrontational. I don't want to be confrontational, but to a lot of the people, like the game journalists, the media critics, and in some case the game developers, who they're acting so scared and afraid of all the harassment and how they're being left out of the conversation. You know who's being left out of the conversation? The female gamers like yourselves. They're basically shutting you out,
Yeah.
knocking you out of the narrative, saying you don't exist. If you do, you're just a sock puppet or a white male, etc. And some of these ladies have been doxxed. They've been
Or
harassed.
somebody who's being controlled, which is also patronizing. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. You're right. Like they're saying
I
you're just
got
being
into
controlled.
a discussion with an SJW, a male SJW from Ireland. Ugh. And he started telling me that since I was all right, since I had never been harassed, or since my life was so perfect, then I didn't have any voice to say what I was saying. And I just told him basically, you know what, you don't know me, you don't know where I live, you don't know anything about me, you don't have the right to tell me what I can and cannot say about this whole situation. And no, I'm not internalizing my oppression. They attack you. They're never gonna see things for the way they really are. They're just like blind.
No,
Yeah.
I've seen them attack people with fibromyalgia and other disorders on Twitter saying that they're either committing fraud, the disorder isn't real, they're faking it, they're lying.
It's almost, in my opinion,
I
it's
talk
almost
exactly like a white guy. Sorry.
No, that's okay. It's almost a little sad how completely and utterly convinced they are of their narrative that they're not willing to look at other sides or other opinions. I mean, I would love to see more people kind of be open and, like, if you feel really strongly about something, then go and look at the other side of it, because if you feel real strongly that that is like 100% the right thing to believe in, then what are you afraid of to look at the other side? Because, well, your thing's perfect, right?
Exactly.
I mean, there's no risk, but they're not willing to look at that other stuff. They just dismiss it because they're like, oh, well, it doesn't fit with what I believe in, so it's not worth my time, you know. And it's too bad. It's upsetting that there's people out there that are that closed-minded, and they're not willing to do research at all.
Well, I would like to add something. Those people also radiate with a huge amount of hypocrisy. For example, they are big supporters of transgender people. And it's not polite to ask, so did you have a surgery or whatnot? It's not really polite to go through all the details. But if I say, I feel like a woman, I am a woman, I walk like a woman, I talk like a woman, that's not enough. But if I said that I'm a transgender person, they wouldn't ask a single proof of anything. So why do I have to prove that I'm a walking, talking female of human species? I don't understand. So if you can help me out on this one, I'll be very grateful.
Can I say something about gender?
Go ahead.
In relation to all of this? So, alright. So, we know that gender and sex are words that people have been that are sometimes the same, sometimes different. You know, there's the special pronouns, etc. So, I'm just talking from a sociological, anthropological-ish background, because my mom was. So, let's say sex is one thing. Your sex is male, your sex is female, your sex is intersex, whatever. And you can change your sex or whatever. Trans. Now, let's say gender is let's say you have a female gendered person from two different countries. They're likely to have, depending on the countries, they're likely to have very different traits that they have learned and have been associated with their gender. Ultimately, this means that gender is a collection of traits. So, technically, gamer can be a gender because all gamers tend to have certain traits in common that are similar amongst all other gamers. Thus, gamer could be a gender, and they shouldn't discriminate against our gender. Done.
Wow.
That's interesting. I don't know if
I don't really feel like I believe in that. I believe that.
That was hella meta.
It's an interesting perspective.
I don't mean it. I'm just making the point based on the kind of stuff they say.
Yeah, you're right.
That's true. Yeah.
All right. Since I think you ladies have definitely held up to the questions pretty well. I think this is perhaps the most controversial one so far. So I'll swing it by you. The question is, what do you think of the fact that? Okay, no. How about this? What do you think of the idea that the harassment is the most important thing, and that comes before the whole talk about game journalism ethics? Like, what do you think of the fact that it always gets dragged back to the fact that, oh, Gamergate started with the harassment of two women, and that's why it's a problem?
I don't agree.
People always get harassed. I mean, like, it might just be because I have a really thick skin, but people always get harassed.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, they do.
There's always going to be extremist people on either side. Like, you've seen, everybody here has seen the death threats that GG plus feminist, I think was her username. Everybody saw the death threat that she got. Like, and then the doxings and needles and things like that. So does that invalidate what the journalists are saying about our movement? No. I mean, like, I personally believe that there is harassment that goes on inside of our movement, and we need to stop that. We need to work as hard as we can to not let that happen. But with it,
It doesn't define us as a movement.
But harassment is always going to be a thing. Yeah.
In any
yeah.
movement, it's
any
always
group.
going to be.
We just need to do our best to police ourselves and, yeah, not let it become a big part of it.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I think that that's what a lot of the people that are onlookers and the people that that are against Gamergate are focusing on, because, I mean, if we put ourselves in their shoes and try and look at it from their point of view, they see this and they see anything where anybody is being harassed or if anybody is being brought down in any way, they're like, well, why are you guys talking about journalists? This person is being hurt. We need to help them. And I mean, when you look at it from that standpoint, it's like, well, yes, it's more, if somebody's being hurt or harassed, yes, we need to focus, we need to fix that issue and then go on to talk about stuff that isn't as bad as someone being hurt. But at the same time, that isn't actually what Gamergate is about. And yeah, there's like spiffs here and there, and then of course there's the big stuff like all of the doxing and the needles and stuff, and I think that needs to be focused on and addressed. But I think that what Gamergate is supposed to be about overall is the journalism stuff, and I think that is what the focus should be on. If there's harassment stuff going on, like you said before, someone's like scratching.
Yeah, there's some weird scratching sound.
Sorry. But yeah, I think
stop.
no, you're fine. I think you guys get what I'm saying anyways, so.
Yeah, what you're saying, in fact, to be honest with you, if you ask me, it shows a complete lack of empathy from the other side. And I mean everyone, I mean like the media critics, the journalists or whatever. Whenever they blow up their victim status because they received a few horrible things on Twitter, it says a lot for your lack of empathy when people who get harassed either all the time or have been harassed because of Gamergate. That was loud. People who get harassed. Wow, that's loud. Hold on.
I'm sorry. You can for a little
wow.
bit.
Maybe mute your mic.
It's just, I'm sitting in the hallway.
Okay.
Maybe mute your mic when you're not talking, just so we can hear.
Yeah, it helps out. So basically, I'm saying that it says a lot of the empathy of these people who they completely ignore the fact that people have been harassed on our side and people have been receiving some pretty horrible things.
Yeah.
And they're basically like, oh my god, I'm so scared, you guys. Like, gamers are sending me really horrible messages. Yeah, no crap. But have you seen some of the stuff that's been happening to like people like us?
Those are just trolls. Those don't count.
Like,
That's
for you to hide behind your victim status and say,
they're a
yeah,
non.
stop
Who
talking about
cares? How do we
Gamergate.
even know they're from anti-Gamergate?
Yeah, it's like for them to hide behind their victim status and say, I'm so scared of gamers, you guys need to address the real issue here. And it's like, you know that we've been harassed, but we're not going to be held down by that. The difference between gamers as a whole, obviously not all of them, but gamers as a whole, and these people who feed into this narrative is they're not going to be held down by victim politics. They're going to do whatever they can, to get their point across. And a couple of angry messages on Twitter aren't going to make them, curl up in a ball in the corner and never do anything ever again.
Actually, the game dev friend that I had that kind of was one of the reasons that I got into this whole thing. He was one of those people that didn't even look at all of the harassment going on our side. I was like, what's your deal with Gamergate? And basically what he said was that, like, oh, well, a lot of people that I know, personal friends and everything, are getting really rude messages, this and that, and this and that. And he's like, and your side is not even saying stop this, and there's none of my side is attacking your side. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. Let me provide you some facts. And I brought them, and I said, no, here is like a huge bundle of tweets saying we do not support harassment. Here is a bunch of tweets saying that, from Gamergate people saying I got harassed by the social justice warrior people, and then he was like, oh, okay,
Out of curiosity, did you ever get him to?
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, but I have to ask though. Did you get him to show you like the tweets, the harassment and the attacks from our side?
It's not that hard to find, honestly. It's really not that hard to find. I mean, people get heated, and I think that I've seen a lot of people who I respect and who most of the time are very respectful, but if they get really heated, they sometimes lose their cool, and then they'll go off, or even if it's just little things, the social justice warrior type people, and I know I'm generalizing a huge group, but the majority of them get offended by very little words. If you say something like, you're a fucking idiot, they're going to notice the fucking in that sentence and the idiot in that sentence, and they're not going to listen to the rest of your argument, even if it has a lot of facts. And so, yeah, but I think that there, of course, there's going to be some really rude stuff, but I think most of the time it's just like Gamergate people saying things like, you're an idiot, or you're a liar. I've seen a lot of you're a liar, and I'm like, okay, guys, they might just be honestly ignorant. They might not be lying, okay? But that's what I see from Gamergate mostly, is just really heated arguments and name-calling. So...
Yeah, that does tend to happen a lot.
Which
And
we need
the
really
next question,
to fix if we want to be
yeah,
recognized.
the next question is that it says, and this is a this is a scary question if you ask me. It says, would any of you ladies be interested in talking with someone on the other side, through a live stream or a hangout, if there's a chance to? As in, would you be interested in talking to an anti-Gamergate person?
Yes! I'm going to jump right in.
Sure.
Yes, yes, yes.
I've tried
like
talking
that
to
for
quite
my
a few
Arwen
people.
Media channel, because that's, I know.
I don't know. I guess yes. I don't know if I could.
Yeah, I mean, I've. No, go ahead.
I don't know. I was just thinking. I don't know if I could measure. Like I could, my temper. Like, ugh.
Can you hear me? I think I.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Yeah,
I cut out. I was real excited. Long story short, yes. I for my Arwen Media channel, my YouTube channel, shameless plug. I'm sorry, but I'm looking for people on the other side to have a discussion, because I have a friend in real life who pretty much identifies as a social justice warrior, but she's a factual social justice warrior, and she's a calm,
like a factual feminist.
Exactly. And I don't agree with her points, but we were able to have a discussion back and forth, and she was able to say, you know what, I don't think Gamergate's great because of this and this, and I was like, oh, I hadn't thought of it that way, and then I thought about it, and I was like, well, but maybe not because of this and this, and we'd go back and forth. I want people like that. So yes, I would love to do that.
Yeah, I think that's what I want, is to talk to someone who is a confirmed, rational, well, moderate, to use that word. I want to talk to someone who's a rational, moderate, who can actually have a conversation. Because I think the problem with the anti-GG side is we have too many vitriolic people. They're dismissive, and they're not actually willing to have a conversation. They just want to come in and either troll you or discredit you or make you look like an idiot. And from the King of Pole stream and the Whiskey Grenades stream, people have been very put off by the other side. So I think we need to have actual discussions. Like, admittedly, what happened with Liana K, I heard that was a bit of a blow-up. But when Liana K talked to Sargon of Akkad, I think that went really well, because that was one-to-one. I think in group talks, things can get a bit messy. And the thing is, I don't know if I was going to do it. Like, obviously, I'm not anybody important, so I don't think I'd ever get the chance to. But if I was going to do it, I don't know if I'd want to do it one-on-one, for the sake of the audience, or I don't know if I'd want to do it in a group, because I feel like I'd want to do it in a group of people to back me up, because I don't. Let's put it this way: if this person is reasonable, one-on-one would be perfect, and if I was important enough to do that. If this person was a moderate, quote-unquote, then I'd want to do it in a group. Is what I think.
I am going to caution against that, because again, can I finish? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I was just getting a suggestion.
Yeah, real quick, I would caution against having just one person from the other side with a big group of us, because then if they say something that maybe gets us very heated in an argument, it's going to be a big group of people against them, and then again, these people are often very sensitive. They're going to be scared of that, and then they're going to go and they're going to tell all their friends, I was attacked by this big mob of people, they wouldn't let me talk, etc., etc. If something like this were to happen, I think it would be best to have either an equal amount of people on each side, or just one-on-one. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's what I was wanting to say. Like, it should be a group against a group. So, like, at least the anti-Gamergaters can have somebody else backing them up, and we can have somebody else backing us up. Preferably somebody who's read more articles than us.
No, but you know what I'd want, though? I mean, because while I don't necessarily agree with everything Liana K says, at least Liana K knows about stuff. The problem I've seen with the anti-Gamergate people is they are disgustingly misinformed. We need to make sure whoever enters that debate, both sides have the facts. If someone enters without any of the facts, that's where the problems start, because we get these idiots and these trolls who just make stuff up and have circles run around them because they don't even understand everything that's going on. Right, so as much as I may not 100% agree with Liana K, at least she knew what she was talking about, albeit biased somewhat. We need more people who can at least have read all the articles, who know all the facts, and then they argue, why this is problematic, why this isn't. Not just some person like that Andrew fella who just said whatever he wanted to.
Yeah, because if that was the case, then the whole discussion would just be the gamergators trying to explain and educate the other person, and then the other person, and then that would be the whole discussion, is just us trying to tell them what's going on. I definitely agree. If there was going to be something like that, then they should come into the discussion already kind of caught up with everything.
Yeah.
I mean, with my experience at Twitter, when we actually getting...
Hello?
I think she cut out.
Yeah, she cut out. She dropped from the call. She'll probably be back soon enough.
No.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. She was in the middle of something.
Well.
Okay, I got a hilarious question for you in the meantime. It says, question for the panel. Would you rather fight one horse-sized feminist or 100 duck-sized misogynists?
What? One horse size.
Well, I can imagine kicking the ducks, so I'd say the latter.
But again, in my case, I don't have anything against feminists. I have something against ultra feminists. I have something against misandrists, but not against feminists. Like, I loved the speech. I mean, I know I joined the stream late, but the UN talk that Harry Potter girl, what's her name?
Harry Potter girl.
I keep forgetting her name.
Emma Watson.
Emma Watson, yeah. I watched it yesterday, and she hits the nail on the head. That's what feminism is about. So I don't think, in my case, I'm not against feminism, so I would not fight the feminist, and I would definitely just kick all the misogynists, ducks, or whatever.
I think I'd do the second, just because I personally, and I'm sure that the the YouTube's gonna blow up, but I self-identify as a feminist just because of I grew up surrounded by that, and I've seen the good it can do. So I would call myself a feminist proudly.
I agree. Me too.
So I fight the ducks.
I don't call myself a feminist. I've read like quite a few things on like the entire feminist movement. I personally just believe it's too tainted for me to willingly join at this point.
How about
Emma Watson does bring up some good points, and she also kind of
egalitarian.
Yeah, that is what I identify as personally. But
I think what makes me happy personally as a guy in all this,
she doesn't address all the issues that happens with guys that are not the patriarchy's fault. They're more like the woman's fault, or they're not anybody's fault, but they still have problems. It's not, but they're still like demonized for it.
Right.
It's just. I like her. I like what she's doing, but at the same time, I don't really think she's doing enough.
No, I mean,
she needs to be calling the rad femmes out.
I see what you mean, and I actually agree 100%. I'm glad you mentioned it. I didn't want to say it. But to be honest with you, in regards to, I guess, Emma Watson, but in general, what I'm starting to see, this obviously it's slightly related to Gamergate, especially because we have so many feminist women, feminist female gamers who are on our side. But what I'm starting to see is feminist women fighting to reclaim feminism back, because I feel like what's been bothering at least guys, I can speak for myself and the other guys on this, for the longest time. The reason why the persona of feminism's man-hating has gone on for so long is because it's been uncontested. It's been severely uncontested just in general. And that's a shame, because nobody really wants to hate it. But whenever somebody brings up the word, everyone kind of just groans and rolls their eyes like, oh God, here we go again. She's about to start saying stuff about, male privilege and rape culture and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, whenever somebody brings up feminism, every guy in the room gets uncomfortable, because it's like, yikes, here we go again. But that shouldn't have to happen.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm glad that, while I don't agree with everything Emma Watson said, that's why I'm glad she's doing that. She didn't come on and say, hey guys, rape culture, male privilege, patriarchy, okay, thanks, bye. She didn't do that. She said that, yeah, that's not good. We need to change that. I'm like, you know what? Good on you, Emma Watson. Good on you.
Yeah, it's gonna take women who actually identify as feminists to speak up against the quote unquote bad feminists in order to change it, or like you said, take it back.
Mm.
And I can't remember who said it. I'm bad with names, but you know, there is a lot of bad things in feminism all around. But you know, it doesn't have to be this huge thing that's all about hating men. You know, it can do good stuff, but you know, good people have to actually speak about it and have voices about it. And a lot of people just look at it and say, oh, well, there's all this bad stuff associated with it. I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to get myself into that, you know, which I understand too.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think anybody wants to go out of their way
at least
to-
part of the issue is the same thing with the gaming journalists. I mean, like feminists don't really. A lot of feminists that I've encountered, they don't really accept critique of their movement. They just like dismiss almost everything as, oh no, you're just misogynist. And unless it's like from another female or a woman of color or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Using that
what I was
word
trying
is,
to say
like,
is that,
best
like,
way to describe it,
sorry.
whatever.
Yeah, sorry, I keep interrupting people. Jesus Christ, they're gonna kill me on Twitter for this.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
No,
I
you're
was
fine.
done.
They're gonna crucify me on Twitter for this. Basically, yeah, I agree. I think that
Speaking over me.
what a lot of I think guys and women, to be honest with you, are annoyed with is like nobody wants to have to start reeling back when feminism is mentioned. And that public persona needs to be changed, because what needs to happen is it needs to be more about, you know, what feminism started with, and that's taking the facts and working, you know, with men and with women to, you know, change things for the better, to suggest things. And it has nothing, and I'm going to say this, it has nothing to do with this listen and believe crap. It has nothing to do with that. It shouldn't be about, like, unequivocally put the woman's perspective first no matter what. That's not the... No, come on. Like, it's stuff like that just makes it worse. You're just poisoning the pot even further. You're supposed to be taking a situation where you can have your gender politics, you can have your ideas, but it has to be equity-based. It has to be egalitarian, where you talk about the issues and you think of solutions together. Not, oh my god, you're a guy, stop oppressing me. It's like, come on.
I think we on the stream yesterday we talked about this same thing, about that, and I think I said then too that that the listen and believe is just about, you know, just because a woman can't have evidence about if she was groped or something, then, you know, you should still, you know, don't just dismiss it if she doesn't have, you know, evidence of, you know, here's fingerprints on me or something like that, you know. But they took that base concept, which is good, that is a good thing we should keep in mind, and just blew it up into this big thing of women are always right, men are always wrong, and it's horrible.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Stuff like that needs to stop happening. So, the next question, a very interesting question, in fact, it's a question that asks.
Can I add something to the thing?
Oh yes, go ahead, sure, it's
Because
fine.
I had a thought when people do that, and I've seen that online all the time, is when I don't know, when they feel like their argument is weak, they kind of try to put it's like using someone as a shield. It's not your shield thing, this entire thing. They just claim something like, well, I'm against rape, and they kind of try to attach it to their arguments. As soon as you disagree with them, they're like, what, so you're for rape? And everyone's like, no, nobody is for rape. That's
Kafka trapped.
It's
I'm thinking of that
defense
EA
mechanism. It's
thing. I'm thinking of that EA thing. It's stupid.
It's on us. The ridiculous Kafka trap that they tried to pull.
I wonder
It's
how
kind
you
of
can get
like-
past
I
that,
think
though.
it's
I mean, like, I read the article, but the guy never offered up a solution. Like, how would you get past a Kafka trap without, like, actually hurting yourself?
It is.
This is a debate
pretty
that should
ridiculous.
happen with, like, more philosophical minds, I guess.
Okay, so in fact, to obviously we've been talking around the issue, but to get back onto Gamergate related stuff, what do you think of what? Because I mean, admittedly, he was a troll, he was a douchebag, but he had some points. I guess he had some things that made me think. What do you think of what that Andrew guy said about the fact that he thinks that asking for a standard of ethics in journalism is an unrealistic goal? What do you think of that?
I think
We
ethics
just want
is
more
lacking in the
objectivity.
world
It
in
doesn't.
general.
Yeah.
I would buy him a one-way ticket to North Korea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? my solution: one-way ticket to North Korea. And then if he manages to come back, we'll see if he stands and all that.
I'm going to refrain from this question because I actually didn't. I haven't watched that stream yet, and I don't know enough about it. So, but yeah.
Okay, that's fine. But he basically said that like our goal is unrealistic. That wanting a standard of ethics where people don't collude and don't, they aren't in bed together and don't form relationships. He said that's unrealistic.
Well, I think that what he was saying, if that's the case,
is it unrealistic to have them actually talk about it when they're talking? Is it unrealistic to have them like put a little disclaimer at the bottom of their article if they're like a close friend or somebody who's going to who would get paid money if that person succeeds in any way? I mean,
Yeah, I think that
I really don't see how it's that bad. We're not asking them to not be friends with people. We're just asking them to actually like say what they want. Talk about their relationships at the bottom, or somewhere.
Disclose the information. But I think that this gentleman, if he was if he's talking about the thing that I'm thinking about is that it is a valid argument that nobody can be 100% objective. Everybody's always going to have their foot on one side or the other, even if it's only a little bit. So in that case, yes, it is completely impossible to be 100% objective and be in the very center of everything. But at the same time, as journalists, it is part of their job to try and take themselves out of that situation or anything emotionally and try and take their thoughts out of it and just look at it in as unbiased a manner as possible. They're not going to be able to do it 100% because we're human beings. We're going to have opinions on stuff, but they can do their best to look at it in as an objective way as possible. And so I think that that's what we're arguing. And so I don't know. I mean, that's my answer to it, is that yes and no. And I can kind of see where he's coming from, but I don't think that he understands exactly what we're asking for.
Yeah, well said. And I think to add to that, when I was listening to that stream, I kind of wished I was in there, because I was like, the thing I really wanted to say is like, look, nobody is asking for a cure to the human condition. We're not saying we're trying to eliminate things before they happen. This isn't Minority Report. What we're trying to do is create a baseline standard of ethics by which people must be held to. Because while you can't prevent something, you can take action to deal with it. You can take action to hold people to a standard. A law is in place not to necessarily stop it for things from happening, but to do something about it when it has happened. So if we have a basic standard of ethics, if somebody steps out of line, we're like, hey, that's unethical, you pay the price. That's what we basically want. We're not saying that people shouldn't be sleeping around if they want to, or getting getting favors or talking to people or having friends. No, but we're saying if you are personally invested in somebody, if you have some sort of relationship with somebody, disclose that. Let us know. Have some professional distance. If you're involved in some way with some people, then don't do anything about it. And quick disclaimer, right? To give an example, right, about whole conflicts of interest and stuff. I work for Gamer Headlines. I'm one of the people who contributes to the site. I'm sure if you know about it, but we're one of the few sites that covered the Gamergate stories when they were breaking, right? And I'm the guy who, unsurprisingly, I'm the one who wrote the Not Your Shield article. That kind of gives my name away, but I don't care, whatever. And like, I did that right before I made the video, and here's the thing. After I made the video, you know what I didn't do? I didn't write about it, because I realized that would be a conflict of interest. At first, I wrote about it because it was news, but then when I got personally involved with this, I stopped writing about it, because I realized that I can't write about this, and I can't force any of the people I know on Gamer Headlines to write about it either, because that would be a conflict of interest. That would be, in a way, promoting myself, and that's not a good thing. So when you have that situation, you have to have that professional distance, and you have to let people know about that. You have to let people know that, okay, you know what, I'm personally involved with this. I might be getting money from this. I shouldn't be doing anything about it. So instead of, as I said, minority reporting people, we should instead give people an ethical standard by which they must be held to. It's as simple as that.
That was perfect. On the dot. That's awesome. Very, very good.
Thanks.
Like that.
Agree.
Yep, agreed.
So I just don't think that. That's why when he said that our goal is impossible. I was just like, no. And just like, I mean, to be fair, I think Oliver he said it pretty well. But all I wanted to add is that we're not trying to change human nature. We're just trying to make safeguards in place for that exact reason. And Jesus Christ, we don't want any more of these ridiculous articles taking aims at gamers and stuff like that. I mean, come on. Like, seriously,
At least represent us correctly. Jeez. This is
Yeah,
slander, but it's acceptable slander, apparently.
right, and to mix it up a bit, since it seems that the question well has kind of dried up, but the question well has just dried up. Have you got any questions for each other, perhaps? Do you have anything interesting you'd like to ask that you want to discuss?
I asked my questions earlier. I had a bunch.
Okay.
Honestly, I cannot think of any questions to ask. I think we've covered a lot.
All right, fair enough. Do you have any questions for myself? I mean, not me specifically, but do you have any questions, like, just in general regarding Gamergate, Nacho Shield, or anything?
I could have one question.
Okay.
For everybody in the conversation. What do you think? Is there something that we haven't done and that we should do about the whole Gamergate issue?
Yeah, that was.
We tried everything that we could.
I think I still feel like maybe sometime we could like get another group of anti-Gamergate girls on board and just discuss here.
Anti-Gamergate girls.
debate
That
them
sounds terrifying. I'm scared.
Yeah.
Thinking about it.
Agreed.
I'm scared just thinking about that.
I think that if we did I would love that situation.
Well, here,
but
like they would probably feel safer about, you know. Sorry, they would probably feel safer about like debating girls instead of like, you know, the misogynist guys. You know what I mean?
That might
you
just
probably
end
get more.
But doesn't that mean that I
more
wouldn't
people
have
would be
to
willing
be
to go
here?
on board.
No, you get to be here by default.
Well, it would be like the referee, I guess. You'd be the referee.
Yeah, I think that if we did something like this, then it should be very, very moderated because things could get heated very quickly, and then people could get upset or just go off the handle. And I don't think anybody wants that. I think that if we did something like this, one approach could be like that. We would ask maybe Not Your Shield would ask, hey, he'd ask a question, and then we'd say, okay, anti-Gamergate, you have 1 minute or something to say about this, and then everybody on the other side's quiet, and so then we'll go back and forth that way, so that we can hear their opinions, but nobody's talking over each other, nobody's interrupting. I mean, even by accident, it could be taken the wrong way, when I think we have to be about that.
Okay, I got a text from one of my friends from Serbia, and he has a question. If you give me one moment, I think it's
a question for Gamergate related
for
things?
you guys.
Really? Okay.
Give me a second, please. So,
Hi, Gwen.
Here's the question. What would you consider a partial and a complete victory of Gamergate?
A partial and complete victory, you say?
Yeah.
Victory would probably be up to the point where they start, the point before they start firing people for this kind of stuff. Complete victory would be like getting Ben Kuchera off, people like Luke Grayson. Note that I'm specifically only naming the male journalists because there are a lot of male journalists who I want out. Anthony Birch.
So much for this.
Just ones that we want out too.
What's the name of that racist one? Female racist?
Leah Alexander.
Leah Alexander.
Get rid of her.
Leah Alexander and Patricia Fernandez. There with the girls that were.
I'm glad you mentioned that because there's this that idea that I remember some articles saying, if this isn't a misogynist movement, why are people only attacking the female journalists? Or when this was about Zoe Quinn, people were saying that if this is about game ethics, then why are they attacking her? And I'm like, Jesus H. Christ. Do you know the amount of guys involved with this and the amount of crap that they're getting? Like, Phil Fish isn't even directly involved, and Phil Fish got a lot of crap.
Well, apparently it might not have been an actual, like, for real docs. Or so I've heard. Like, It was not very incriminating financial information, but like it's just a speculation at this point. I'm sorry. Keep going. I mean, like, well, we should probably take his claim seriously.
But
even if
I think a victory would be to at least these people apologize. At least that would be a partial one.
See, in my opinion,
yeah,
partial victory would be to have sites and journalists outside of Gamergate actually start reporting on both sides and not have it be so biased. A total victory would be have nothing to do with the people that are currently in journalism, whether we personally dislike them or not. I would say that a total victory for Gamergate would be to have all of these gaming sites that have caused problems in the past change their policies publicly. You know, I mean, if they apologize or not, that doesn't really matter in the long run. I mean, it maybe makes them look a little better and makes us respect them more. But the bottom line, the most important thing, is to have those rules changed so that this doesn't happen again. So that would be a victory for me.
Okay, anyone else want to answer the
I might
question?
need to get off actually quickly because my netbook is like really low on battery right now. So
that's fine.
All right, just give me a sec. I'll log out.
All right, thanks.
Thanks for talking. That was like
yeah,
really
bye.
interesting.
Nice to meet you.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
All right, so okay, perfect. All right, I think to add on a little bit, the whole thing about a complete victory, a partial victory. I think a partial victory would be just to have, a reform, just in general, that they become transparent with us and say, you know what, fine. Game ethics important. We'll revise our policies. We'll make sure we keep people in check. That's fine. You know, nobody needs to die. Nobody needs to go away. Nobody needs to get fired. Whatever. Everyone's just, everyone's chill, right? But a complete victory would be the people who have said the horrible vitriolic things that are being housed by their complacent peers are maybe not necessarily fired, but they are dealt with, because these people should not be allowed to keep doing what they're doing in the unprofessional way in which they're doing it. Because I'm not necessarily a person who says we need to fire this person, we need to boycott that person, but what we need to do is we need to keep these people in check. We need to stop them from saying the horrible and vitriolic things they've done, and potentially replace them with people better suited for the job. That's what I would like. I'd like to see these people finally own up to it, apologize, and be straight with us, be transparent with us, and say that, okay, fine, we've done and said some horrible stuff. You are our consumers, you are our audience, and we'll endeavor to do better for you now. They have to do good PR. They can't keep being complacent. They can't keep holding gamers and their audience in contempt. They have to be straight with us. That's what I would want personally.
I think that's a really good point. I actually that brings up another question. Earlier today on Twitter, I saw something about that. There's going to be this influx of people saying nice things or apologizing, and so I think that it's almost like we have to be careful not to contradict ourselves, because on the one hand we're asking for apologies, but then when people do come out and say sorry, we dismiss it. I've seen people say that we should dismiss it and, oh, well, don't listen to them being nice, or don't accept their apologies, etc. We got to pick one or the other.
They dismiss our apologies. I've seen other people apologize. I apologize myself. They always dismiss the apologies that we give. We should not dismiss the apologies they give.
I think the dismissal of the apologies, I think it has more to do with the fact that people don't trust the apologies, that they feel like it's a chance. I don't know. It's a troll, and by a troll I mean a literal troll, as in they're trying to appease us and they're trying to set us up by saying, oh, we're sorry, you guys. If we just accept it, then we just drop the whole Gamergate thing. We stop talking about ethics. So people are saying don't accept the apologies because it's like a deflection. It's like saying if they apologize, they're going to try and get us to stop. So it sounds weird, but I can understand why people are saying it. However, if someone's genuinely remorseful, they write an article saying, you know what, you're right, we're sorry, then fair enough, accept that. But if they kind of do it in a way like, why can't we be friends, then I can see why that seems suspect. It seems a bit like they're trying to set us up. I can understand why people are cautious.
Yeah, but I mean, where do we draw the line? Who gets to decide what is a sincere apology and what is a quote unquote troll, or what is just an article written to try and silence us or get us to not speak about it? I think it's a very thin line, and I think that we should be cautious about trying to walk it. You know.
I think I'm speaking for many people because I've seen that on Twitter a lot. I think there's this big wish in the gaming community that the gaming community wasn't so divided anymore. I'm just saying this because I've seen so many tweets where people were like, God, all this fighting, it's driving me insane. Why can't people just solve that conflict? I think it really preys on some people that this community is a bit, I would say, cracked.
It's funny you should say that, considering I feel like this has actually brought gamers together more than divided them, actually.
I think they're more tired of having to like care about. I don't know if it makes any sense what I'm saying. Having to care about something so much that you're actually fighting for it can get exhausting after a month. So I think what we're seeing is exhaustion.
Yeah, I agree.
It is exhaustion. No, but at the same time, it's like, I don't think any gamer wants to keep fighting. Do you know why Gamergate is on week 6 right now? It's because the corrupt people won't stop being corrupt. And that's not out of some sort of thing where, as I said, we're trying to curb the human condition, but rather the people who say and do horrible stuff are still saying and doing horrible stuff. Like recently, there was that whole thing with the Mighty Number 9 community manager. Some of the stuff she said was ridiculous, and she was completely unapologetic for it. She didn't apologize. She didn't retract anything. She instead deflected, took the argument in circular ways and just made people look like idiots. When this stuff keeps happening, this is why people keep fighting, because the people on the other side, they're not willing to even, not necessarily apologize, they're not even willing to compromise. So in that respect, I mean, nobody wants to keep fighting about this. Nobody wants to keep fussing about something that, is effectively a digital online war. But the fact that people, not necessarily on both sides, but the fact that people just aren't willing to even compromise, I think that's the crux of the problem, effectively. I think that's the issue.
Yeah, I think that it's that. I think that on their side it's that, and on our side, I think that it's the, first of all, it's a lack of a concrete leader or voice that represents us, but it's also that Gamergate, since it is just a bunch of people without a leader, I feel like a lot of people get confused about. Whoa, goodness!
Ow.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, I think that a lot of people sometimes get confused about what the concrete goals of Gamergate are. I mean, I think that it's like, well, yeah, it has some stuff to do with journalism. It has some stuff to do with representation of women in games, and it's this and that, it's this and that. But it's not like nobody is able to stand up and say, here's what Gamergate is about forever and always, because again, we don't have a leader. So it's like on their side, they're not apologizing, and on our side, it's like, okay, what is Gamergate actually about? It's easy to get confused because we don't have a leader.
Yeah, you're right. It's like,
and
to them,
it
just seems like a bunch of angry gamers getting angry about stuff that happens all the time, and to them, they just think that we should just shut up and deal with it, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know how to fix that either. There's no concrete.
I don't think there's a fix.
Yeah, there isn't.
Well, how are we going to pick a leader? It's just like votes. Maybe we could have a vote on 3 leaders: a woman, a male, and another minority. I don't know.
I don't know. It kind of feels like we have a lot of little leaders and doing a lot of little things.
Yeah, and
like
I think
we're each our own leader to our own followers.
Mm-hmm.
Also, humans are fallible, ideas aren't.
Yeah, I think that it would.
Agreed.
I think it would take away from Gamergate as a movement to have any sort of actual concrete leader.
It would.
Yeah.
You discredit leader, you discredit the movement. So we don't need a leader.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I've heard it said that if Gamergate gets a leader, then people are just going to use it against us. They're just going to like ad hominem him. They're gonna make sure they dig up every bad thing about them to discredit them, and effectively the movement as a whole.
I feel like we're running the problem of Occupy Wall Street. There is a coherent message, but other people are telling us we do not have a coherent message. There have been coherent messages thrown around everywhere. We have tons of them. One of them is we don't want to be all painted with the same brush, like with those 10 journalist things. Sorry.
Yes.
And another one is we don't, no more gamers are dead. We want to know who the journalists, what their biases are. We want all journalist sites to use an actual journalist set of ethics, like The Escapist and traditional journalism sites. I mean, between that and the don't harass all gamers, we're pretty clear.
You're
Sorry,
right.
but I've
And
got to leave now because it's like
oh, okay, that's fine.
Okay.
2:30 in the morning.
Bye.
It was nice to
Bye-bye.
meet you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I mean, you're right though. I think the issue is that it's so easy for someone to say that you have no direction. You've just, there's just been harassment and anger, and even though there are genuine issues, people are, people are just scattered because there's no direction. Like it's basically saying that like people think that we're just a bunch of, loser nerds getting angry about stuff. Like we're like a mess, like a messy movement that isn't really a movement. Like, to them, they think that we're just a bunch of, kids online complaining about nothing. And while obviously that isn't true, it's easy to see that from the outside, especially if you're not involved. You'll just think that, oh, what are they complaining about? Why did they harass some people? This is stupid.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems with not having a one solid leader to speak for us, is that it's a bunch of tiny voices saying, most of the time saying the same thing, but it's just a bunch of different people, and somebody from the outside looking at Gamergate, they're not going to know who to believe. They're not going to know who is, speaking good things about Gamergate, or somebody who, has just gotten really heated and just called somebody a name. It's almost chance what they're going to see because there's so many people talking about it. And on the one hand, there's like a lot of those really awesome infographics that have been made. That's like, here's Gamergate. This is what it's about. Here's our like things that we aim to do. And like, I love that. And I like to see that. Anytime I see it, I retweet it. But I don't know. Like, I wish that we could maybe get somewhere, somehow, somebody to like write an article that's just like, okay, here's Gamergate, here's like the points it's about, and maybe this can be some sort of voting system. I can't remember who mentioned that earlier, but rather than voting on leaders, we can have a big vote on what do you think Gamergate like is about, or like what do you think Gamergate should be aiming to do, and then like kind of have this big open poll, and then anybody who's curious can go and see that and say, oh, okay, I don't know, it's an idea anyway, something like that. Because otherwise, it's just so many little voices.
I see what you mean. I think the best thing would be is if a big major news source, either a website or perhaps an actual like mainstream media source, they finally set the record straight and said once and for all, this is Gamergate, here are the facts, here's what happened, and here's what the goal is. If that was done, I think that would help everybody because it would make things so much clearer. It would get rid of all the misconceptions. And it would basically say that despite some of the problems it's had, it's aiming for good, and this is the good it's done. Because obviously, Nero is on the warpath, discovering anything and everything. Websites like Cinema Blend and others have written some, nice articles, complimentary ones. But the majority of the mainstream media has done nothing, absolutely nothing but slander us. Like, doesn't matter if it's BBC, The Guardian, Telegraph, Time Magazine. Every single website has said nothing but bad things about Gamergate. They said, why it effectively boils down to why are a bunch of misogynist gamers trying to keep women out of the industry. That's what it boils down to. And if that can change, if someone finally steps up and says, you know what, there is some truth to this, and it doesn't even have to be a leader of sorts. It just has to be somebody who says they're willing to give us the benefit of the doubt. And once that happens, I feel like that would change things for good. So, all things considered, I think this stream has been very fruitful, and since I can see that dwindling view count, I think I want to bring the stream to a close because I think it's been great having you all here. I don't want to drag it on for 6 hours like last time. So I just want to thank you all for coming out. I want to thank you all for participating in the stream and lending all your voices. Obviously, without the support of you ladies, this would not be possible, and without the support of all the people who support Gamergate and Not Your Shield hashtags, we couldn't get this thing running in the first place. So, as I said, big thanks for doing this. Not too sure if it's necessary to do a third stream, but I'll see what people think. And I'm really glad that you guys have contributed your voices, and I think we've really said a lot, and we really got a lot done. So as I said, thank you for contributing.
Well, thank you for taking time to host this and get everybody together and organizing it. You're a big part of what made this possible, so thank you.
And thank you for the invitation. Definitely.
I'd love to speak to all of you again sometime. It was fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Feel
hey,
free
Twitter's your friend.
Twitter's your friend.
Add us on Twitter.
I will, but I will.
I must say, though, I'm slightly jealous. My real life isn't anywhere near this exciting.
But tweets, a big problem is that tweets always feel impersonal to some people, and it's easier to ignore. It's easier to ignore a Twitter handle than it is a voice.
Yeah,
I see what you mean.
I think that if I have a quick suggestion, rather than having a big, huge, long stream, I mean, I love them, and I think that they're definitely necessary. But in the future, I think that we can do things like this, but in like short spurts, like maybe have like only like three or four ladies, and then have like 5 questions set up, and then maybe make it like 10 minutes long or something. Like make it almost like a little. I mean, it's your time. You don't have to do this, but I would almost like to see some kind of like little mini series thing where you like get different ladies every time, and then have different questions from people. And then we can do this sort of thing, but have it in small chunks. And then people would maybe be more willing to watch it and share it. And then maybe we can get the voices that we have out there more, And then maybe these sites will finally see that there are women here,
I see what you mean. So, because other than the big streams, it'd be good to have something like maybe 10 to 20 minutes long where we get people, like different people, to talk about an aspect of something. And that way, instead of having long, drawn-out situations or arguments, we can have quick bits of information. The thing is, I had considered that, but I didn't want to copy anyone because there's quite a few people doing like the Gamergate news, as it were. Like, what's his name? Soccerina of Time keeps doing one, so I didn't want to copy her. Yeah. So, well, but I can see what you mean.
Yeah, but I mean, we need more good voices. I mean, not that we're all perfect angels, but I mean, we need more good voices out there. And it's not that you're copying. I think that I would encourage more people to do that. If you see a format of something you like, such as Gamergate News, do something like that. I mean, have more positive voices about it. We need it,
Okay. I mean,
yeah, I think more of that's good.
And to be fair, what I'm actually planning to do next, and quick exclusive for everybody who's still listening to this stream, so be glad you stuck around. The next stream I'm actually planning to do, and I'm sure everyone's going to be really excited, is going to be the ethnic people of Gamergate. I think that's going to be fun. I think that's going to be amazing. I don't know why, but
then you should do the gays and lesbians of Gamergate at some point too.
Yeah, something like that.
Cool. That'd be awesome.
I honestly feel like, I don't know why I'm so giddy about the ethnic people. I shouldn't be. But I don't know. I think it's gonna be entertaining. So, I just want a chance for everyone to be heard. So obviously, I felt like, priority number 1, get the women of Gamergate going. See how that does, gauge some interest, get some feedback, etc. If that goes well, then start rolling out the next ones, because the whole point of this is to be a follow-up to the Not Your Shield video. So given the fact that this has done considerably well, I'll say that that's the next step. So as I said, thanks a lot for coming out, and thanks to all of you, my listeners, for tuning in. And yeah, we'll see you later.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.